Howdy folks, welcome to Mosaic Team 5, our original Starfinder game. I am Joe Treff, your game master this evening and most, and joining me are my friends Matt, Dan. What if we just sat here going like this until Dan showed up? Dan, who is getting tea right now, Kara, Olive, and Ari. Oh yeah, that's right, yeah. You have to lean way out of frame. He's here, he's just leaning. Yeah, sometimes it's hard to tell. Hey Dan. Hey. So, we're going to play Starfinder tonight, but before we do, a couple of quick announcements. First, you can support the channel in a number of different ways. Through bits, which are Twitch's microcurrency. They directly translate into money, which is great. We have a lot of cool projects that are in the pipelines, but they do cost a lot of money. And, you know, I'm just a guy. So it's very, very helpful. Bits can be redeemed to impact the session in direct and meaningful ways. A couple of bits can resupply a hero in a time of need. A few more might be able to invite like a professional bounty hunter to join the mission. So those are available. We also have channel points which you accumulate for free, and you can use those to impact some of the longer term elements of our story. Right now, hello Matthew. Right now there are two different options available. They have not really been discussed yet, and I purposefully left them a little vague. But you are able to interact with them, and we'll find out a little bit more about those.
And we will.
Yeah, maybe we'll find out more about that today. We also have social media at AlbronRPG for Instagram, for TikTok apparently, and all kinds of stuff. So you can find videos. You can also find close-ups of the encounter maps. We do have an encounter map up right now. It's Tony's Express. But you can see it much more clearly on Instagram at AlbronRPG. Tomorrow night we'll be playing our original D&D campaign, Courts of Everest. We are coming to the Shadowfell, which is going to be a very interesting arc. That is something that is beginning tomorrow at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then finally, for the music that you hear, amongst other things, Sirenscape, digital tool set that you could use to add farts or... Wow, that was a wet one.
That was my favorite. That was upsetting.
Ooh, sorry about that. Sirenscape, you better check yourself. You could do drums. You could do things like your communicator text messages. Damn, where did that come from? Oh, from... Wow.
For tomorrow.
Wow, that blew my mind for a second.
Yeah, I had to do it.
Cool art. Yeah, like that I just now saw. Something really cool that will eventually probably be on Instagram. Super cool.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry about it. You'll see it eventually.
Actually, worry about it. Get excited about it.
That's super cool. Is that on the Discord?
Yeah.
Yeah. So cool. So those are our announcements, and with that, we can jump into our recap. Good timing on the music, too. Okay.
Yeah.
He's finishing up his tea first.
Dingus.
Mosaic Team 5 minus Bubs. Last we played, you received a host of augments. None more than Spice, who is now highly augmented, with, I believe, 4 systems installed, ranging from psychokinetic eyes to gills. You all boarded the Tony Express for the second leg of your journey, bound for Zadaisy, this arid planet that is known for harvesting insects to create dyes. Shade, you spent some time reviewing the footage, a lot more time than you had initially intended, as it was not a terribly successful role, especially for you. You took some time to review that footage, seeing what was stored aboard the Tony Express, who left. Spice, you got a call from Mari and Meeg, and they told you that they were bound for Ara's Bay.
Yes, they were.
They had purchased or rented a villa and had sent you a 3-dimensional construction of that, complete with like Photoshop pictures of Meeg and Mari. So you have a pretty good idea that they will be staying in Ara's Bay in the very near future.
Thank you, subscribers.
Yeah, absolutely. People voting for that versus the Eclipse Mall arc that we could have had. Mall rats would have been so fun.
That would have been fun.
Bubs had a little bit of contact with Steele, who was mildly disappointed in his choice of names as the Great Bee or whatever it was that he had chosen.
The Mighty Bee.
Bubbles and Spice, you spent some time just speaking to a drunk man, quite a significant amount of time, before Echo, you navigating across the train and searching for elements of cargo that had been stored, discovered 2 android shells, android bodies which had given up the consciousness to make way for the next one. A process that was eerily reminiscent of something that you had seen previously. You roped Shade into a plan which would see these 2 android bodies exported from Tony's Express to the director, despite the fact that these are both stellar craft that are traveling at high speed. You had Shade disable the ship's sensors, now reading everything incoming as just empty space. And as you hurtle along through the empty void and the director begins to close, that is where we're beginning this evening with Echo and Shade, both crouching in a compartment between cars with the decommissioned bodies of androids between them. Give me just 1 second.
So I learned some stuff off stream.
What? Excuse me?
And
Matt was like, this
That's
is going
a
to be
strong way to
so
start.
easy.
I didn't say it was going to be so easy. I said,
this
like,
is gonna
it was going to
suck.
be easier than throwing a paper airplane between two cars on the highway, which technically it is. But I didn't know about the structure by which the train is being jettisoned through space, and that throws a little extra wrinkle in it. Makes it a little more complicated than I had initially thought when we were making the plan.
We had a little conversation about
Last
how
week.
physics works, and that's what happened. We talked about the weak force, we talked about the strong force, we talked about gravity, we talked about electromagnetism. So,
I didn't realize that we're essentially on a giant railgun.
so in the past,
we
there
are.
was a historical accident in this universe in which a runaway train shot straight through a space station. Very much a railgun. You've noticed that you've passed through these gravity rings, and so if those malfunction in a very particular way, yes, it is not a good time. And so launching a metallic body through one of those, probably not the best idea, but I believe in you. So as you sit in this car between the two cars, space traveling by, looking out, you can see just darkness and these few elements of stars. I would say because you are looking for it, you see some of these blinking stars just become black for brief periods of time, and you realize that there is a shape closing in. And as the director approaches, 1 second here, let me roll for the director.
Sensors are off too on the ship.
The sensors are not off; they're reading as blank space all
Right,
around.
they're looped.
So there's Dan. So the director travels in, and maybe like only 100 feet away from the train itself, you see the first rays of light that are being cast from the nearby star strike it, and you just get a glimpse before it disappears into the shadow, and you are aware that it is only, I know, yeah, you're only 20 feet away, maybe like right outside that door, but you cannot see the craft. And then your communicator pings, and the director says, Shade, I am in position.
The director is in position. So I was thinking I would jump across and take manual control so that we can do some sort of passing. I don't know if you had any other plan.
There is a shuttle aboard the craft, aboard our ship. It might be useful.
Would it
Or
be
perhaps
easier
it
with
is
the
not.
shuttle if I went on to the director, took the shuttle out, and used that to transfer the bodies? Could I land that in some way or dock it in some way to the train?
I would say, thinking about that, the shuttle that you have is roughly a size where you could set it so that the landing gear, you're going to have a pretty good distraction because it's going to make a sound. But you can have the landing gear essentially straddle the top of the train, land on the top, and if you were to have the bottom hatch open in the back like it does, you could go straight down into the top hatch of those in-between spaces.
Okay.
And so that is an option, absolutely. It has its own issues, like landing it, straddling a train, but you can definitely try it. And probably better than yeeting a body through space.
That seems like the better option. So I'm gonna ping the little boop, 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 boop trajectory and stuff, and then get ready to jump out to get into the director. And then also pinging Spice and Bubs and Gibbs to start distracting and checking to see if we have an updated time of collision for the cosmic debris field.
So the director had previously told you that there was an incoming amount of debris. And so are you asking the director?
Yeah, sending the message to the director as I'm jumping over to it.
Okay. So the director would say, there is 1 hour and 47 minutes until impact. there is a 10% chance that the debris will impact the train on its current course and current rate of speed.
It's only a 10% chance, and it's in 2 hours.
10% is a little big.
I think we just have to do it now.
We will take those odds.
Well, we're doing it before, right?
The odds being that we should do it now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So we're doing it now. So I'm gonna jump over to get to the director, get into the ship, fly the shuttle to try and dock it on top, so that Echo can start bringing the bodies up.
So-
like shuffling them.
You have the benefit of having seen Gibbs open your ship to space, and you know that anything within is a depressurization event.
Right.
And so, is there some way that you're securing these android bodies before you open the train to space, or?
Yeah. I mean, I guess. Is there? We could really use that adhesion thing right about
We're
now.
up all night to the sun. She's up all night to get some. We're
And
up
so-
all night to get
Yeah,
lucky.
worth noting in this moment as you guys are like debating this, if this was like a TV show, this would like smash cut over to in this like train car with the entire audience outside of maybe the Shorepoint contractors and Jarvis, just gathered up in one train car, watching what is a well, I can't say those words. It's a some kind of a pun.
All night to get lucky.
Performance that is happening in there as a distraction, and it is certainly working. I mean, you have almost the entire train up there.
Woo.
So
Echo takes the titanium alloy cable out of their pack, and they start like rigging up like little harnesses to basically attach them like balloons.
okay, no problem. That's easy enough. You don't need a rope
Body
for that.
balloons, love that.
Yeah, no. So definitely, I like how there's so many ways that could have gone, but that's the most innocent of them. Yeah. So you balloon up your Echo units as you do, and you don't even really need a roll for that. It's not especially hard. You're not worried about like damaging them. They are inert objects, but you take enough care to make sure that there won't be like physical structural damage.
Lost a finger.
No.
Are you opening the door?
Those doors are shut. Bodies and Echo are secured.
Correct.
Clinging hand to stabilize myself when I open it, so I don't fly out. And then I'm gonna open it, and then I'm gonna get ready to jump.
Are you stabilizing yourself as well?
Echo's just like holding on to the nearest handle.
Nice. Each of you make an athletics check. Take a +6 conditional modifier, because you are nice and prepared. And this is the benefit of Gibbs having vented all your stuff into space once.
Not the only
athletics?
No, actually, like 3 of you did that exact
Did you
same
say
encounter.
athletics check?
Yes.
37. No, 31.
Holy shit.
30.
Big rolls, big rolls.
There is,
Oh wait, plus 36.
37, yeah,
Very
actually.
nice, very nice. So there is this, and the door opens, and instantly there is no sound as the vacuum just takes that space. There are like elements of little debris and maybe like a little tiny piece of saran wrap from Tony's sandwiches that just right out and instantly just gone into the blackness. And in this moment, as the door opens and it becomes silent, you can see just little slivers of metal coming from the director now that there is light coming out of the door. Shade, it's about 20 feet.
Cool. Jump jets across.
Cool. You float across.
Clinging hand.
Roll a D100, please.
Oh, I don't like the D100s. That makes me nervous when
I
he
feel
says
like it's
roll a D100.
the 10% chance of getting hit by cosmic debris.
Oh.
What's the double zero?
80.
No.
Double zeros.
Then 08.
Is that
Yeah.
90? Or that's 8. It's 8. I got an 8. I got a fucking 8.
Cool.
Oh,
So
oh
that's
dear.
probably in the 10% chance.
Oh dear.
You're gonna find out if I get hit by like a tiny pebble and die.
Oh, darn.
In this case, rolling low is good.
Okay, good.
You are on a relatively straight track of train, and though there is no track, and so you can't necessarily tell if a turn is coming up, you don't see any gravity rings, and nothing seems to be coming.
Numbers everywhere.
Are you I mean, are you having the director look out for more stuff actively, or like?
Yeah, I think like I would have the director, keeping the ship steady so that I can get in, but then once I'm safely in, it can start focusing on like
Okay,
exterior objects colliding, and I can focus on flying it.
no problem. You make your way across and kicking away from the space, you look back behind you and there's Echo, these two androids lashed together with titanium, and you effortlessly make your way across. There's nothing that you were touching, and for like a little bit of time, you're reminded of the time that Gibbs was just jettisoned out towards the edge of the drift. But soon enough, you feel the ship under your hands, you pull into the door, and you are within the directive 0.
Ooh.
So are you asking the director to scan?
Yeah.
Make a computers check, and you can use the director's modifier, which I believe is +5.
On top of my own, or
yeah, you can add +5 as a modifier to that, to your own.
I think I put the sheet actually. I'll find it later.
Maybe you should find it now.
28.
28. Okay.
Yeah. The +5 helped. It was not a great roll on the die.
So the director begins to conduct scans. And the director reports, the debris is closing. It seems to have shifted speed. It will now arrive in 1 hour, 17 minutes. The debris is composed of 36% titanium alloy, 34% aluminum alloy, 12% steel, along with smaller amounts of graphite epoxy composite, carbon fiber housing, and neon helium concentration that suggests small laser weapons or a single large laser weapon. I detect an inert Jacinto transponder, along with a faint electrical signal that is broadcasting in a limited radius. The dispersion of the debris field seems unlikely to be random. It will intersect with the track nearly perfectly.
Does that mean that it's potentially ship high? Like, all of that information sounds like a ship that is
Make an engineering
put
check.
itself into like a sleep mode, essentially, kind of like how we did to get onto Akaton.
Make an
Where we
engineering
like
check.
hit on the incoming asteroid to get past.
So as you were aboard and you were doing this, Echo, you're watching and Shade just disappears into the dark. What are you doing anything in this time, or are you just waiting?
Echo would probably hold in place, like, ready to pass the bodies, and is just, like, kind of staying secured. But also just kind of, like, monitoring, staying secured and ready, but monitoring the general vicinity for any transmissions from Shade or any movement.
Make a perception check. The transmissions from Shade you would just pick up, but in terms of movement, let's see.
Oh, I should have gone with the other die. The other one rolled better. 21.
You don't really see Shade. At the speed in the dark of space, it's hard to see much. But for what it's worth, you don't see any movement.
Sweet.
For
Oh,
your
21.
33 as an engineering check, so titanium and aluminum alloy in those kind of compositions, that's pretty standard for most starships. That
The epoxy.
So specifically thinking about graphite epoxy composite, that would speak to likely a drow ship, actually, which does not really match with there being a Jacinto transponder. You also note, looking at the scans, it is certainly debris. It is a tight debris cluster, but it is debris, multiple pieces. Outside of that, I mean, neon helium is just what you use as a medium to pass a laser through.
Yeah.
And as a gas, it would probably cluster up, but yeah, hard to tell much more than that.
But it's likely some debris from like a ship, either a wreck or.
Almost certainly.
Okay. Huh. I'm gonna, broadcast all of that information to the crew about the incoming debris and all the contents and the time, the estimated time that keeps updating. And I'd probably send that information out as it updates.
Okay,
from
no
the
problem.
director.
So real-time updates.
Yeah.
However, in this moment, it may be difficult for everybody to get those updates as Bubbles and Spice, the two of you.
Yeah.
Can you make, first of all,
They're on silent mode.
yeah, I mean, I think even if it was as loud as it could possibly be,
backstage.
I would say for this, you could either make diplomacy checks or, depending on what you have for a profession, you may be able to make a profession check as well.
Can I get a bonus because I bought this guitar?
You have your charming eyes, don't you?
Do you know how to play a guitar? Does Spice know how to play a guitar?
I'm gonna say no because I've never practiced it.
Yeah, so I'm going to say probably not.
Okay. Well, diplomacy, right? That's what my own.
You know how when you buy an electric piano and it's got that button that's like, dun, dun,
The keys go by themselves. 21, very nice.
Yakadai is good.
15 plus 15, 30.
30.
Wow.
Okay. So first, Bubbles, you get the crowd warmed up with this drum set that you've assembled out of trash cans and plastic bins.
Oh, it's Stomp.
Oh, very much.
Oh my God!
Stomp mixed with Daft Punk at the
Gibbs,
same
I mean,
time.
for just a minute, you're like in the cart, like watching everybody get ready. You're like, okay, everything's working. You're looking around for Tony, but he's not there. So you're about to go and like find Tony, and you see Bubs has set up like turned over 10-gallon paint containers and like all different kinds of things.
My heart's so warm.
It is
Daft
literally just
Stomp,
for the very
Stomp,
first
Stomp.
time you can see that Bubs has assembled something meaningful out of garbage.
Well, I mean, the apology card was meaningful.
Yeah.
It's the second time.
But this is something that is not meant as something for you. This is like a whole new thing on its own
This is a
device.
multimedia
And
artist.
Bubs is actually pretty good at it. As he begins, like it's a pretty basic line, but it's very, very well kept. And then as Bubs gains a little bit of confidence, Bubbles, you remember they were able to like throw the stick, and so very hesitantly you try and it goes well. So before too long, these are really just like miniature weapons, essentially.
Yeah,
And
that's
you're
in
good with
Bub's
those.
mind. He's thinking basically it's just like
Kill the
hitting
buckets.
someone.
Absolutely.
But rhythm.
Yeah, absolutely, with rhythm, and especially now thinking about the fight that you had with the Katydid Queen and the sort of tempo that was involved with that and the performance that was involved with that. There's a lot of similarities there, and you carry that through. A lot of it is really just your enthusiasm and energy is definitely being picked up by the small audience. The costumes help. Spice, you have no idea how to play a guitar, and so you play a guitar in the same way that DJ Khaled does music. In that, like, you're doing a lot of like, yeah, like you're like, how are you doing tonight? And everybody's like, yeah, or hype. By the end of this performance, you have not touched the guitar other than to like
It's for show.
swing it around a couple times.
Like
and you like
do the thing where you move it around and
exactly. Yeah.
My name is gonna come first in the marquee now.
Oh, there you go. Yeah. I mean, the only person
know what that
technically
means.
performing is Bubbles.
You've never seen it. Okay, I'll explain it.
But yeah, you absolutely like interact with the crowd. You can see the goblin who had been kind of like almost passed out from being drunk is definitely like regained a lot more energy. He's like up there like yelling and shouting. Everybody is beginning to like really it's a dance party essentially in this. And then you have already brought in glitter that the Wayoko bachelor party had left behind, and so it very much is like a party atmosphere.
With Anitra, even though she's gone. What
And
was her name?
nobody notices that it gets a little darker outside the ship for just a moment. Gibbs, while that's happening, this show that is just putting many others that you've seen that are like in proper concert venues to shame, proper being a relative term in wrecking. What are you doing? You were given the task to distract Tony. You haven't seen him yet, and so unclear if he needs distracting in this moment.
Then I'm gonna head to kind of the front of the ship.
Okay.
I understand that the ship is sort of vulnerable because we've kind of fucked with it in a lot of ways.
You
Right?
told people that you turned off the sensors, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you know that right now
we had discussed the plan. We were gonna go disable the sensors and get ready. For
you could be about to
director.
collide with the moon, and
Yeah.
it would read as like perfectly clear space.
So if I see Tony and I can distract him, great. If I can't, then I'm gonna be the conductor in his stead in the front of the ship. Is the plan here?
Okay. So you make your way towards the front. You've been up there before. You take that little side track that goes around Jarvis's thing. You could see he is like busy setting something up and like seems to be working on something like towards the back of his little car. Hard to tell what that might be, but he seems pretty excited.
Jarvis is?
Yeah. And
Can I
Spice,
squint at what he's excited about?
Yeah, make a perception check.
Oh, I love perception.
It seems like he's getting a bunch of like these empty, semi-empty fuel cells, and he's loading it with little scraps of metal and things that will like,
8 plus 14 is...
22?
Thank you.
Yeah, you're looking at somebody creating the most ramshackle fireworks you've ever seen, and as you see him begin to set up the emergency release vents, you remember that huge concert that you just left, and you would imagine that either Spice or Bubbles at some point, and probably Spice thinking about that, has convinced Jarvis to use elements of these expelled, incredibly dangerous cores to essentially be a finale fireworks by jettisoning them out past the windows that you were performing in.
Okay. So that's part of the plan.
And he is super excited. You can hear
Cool.
the fire just like raging behind the furnace. This fire elemental, as pleased as he could be.
I'm not one to yuck someone's yum, so I will continue to walk away, walk by.
Okay, so no problem. You walk by, and you can actually make a perception check. As you get closer, for the first
Oh,
time...
19 plus 14.
I mean,
A
damn.
million.
So you get close, and for the very first time, the door has been left open. It seems like it was probably opened in a pretty big hurry, because it's like almost mostly shot like somebody threw it, it hit, and then kind of came back. You can hear Tony just goes, "Oh no, you gotta be kidding me. We just had snakes on our train. Now you're telling me we're gonna get hit by an asteroid? By 2 asteroids? All right, I'm gonna speed up. That's gonna make things better. We can get by it. I've done it before."
Knock, 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 knock.
You hear like a little click, and then, yeah, hello.
Hey, it's me. Gibbs.
Oh, Mosaic Team 5. Hey.
Yeah.
I just gotta do something real quick. Hang on.
Yeah, hold on. You had
pulls-
a tough
he
day.
Takes the little communicator out, and all of you hear a little chime. And overhead, Tony goes, "Hey, Tony Sizatome here. Just wanted to let you all know there's a little debris that is passing by, and we might lose a day or two if we go our traditional speed. So who knows? Space debris, am I right? Anyways, we might notice some power fluctuations as we speed up. Small bumps, nothing the Tony Express can't handle. All right, thanks for flying the Tony Express." And he slams the communicator down. He goes, "What now?" And he jams this control forward, and all of you feel as things begin to jolt and go faster. You were already aboard the director, so you don't have to worry about that. You haven't
Did
started
I hear
this process.
this?
No.
Okay.
However,
Imagine
everybody else is aware of it.
Did they hear it in our ship with the
The
music?
two of you make a perception check. Nobody
Can
else
I
has.
cast Build Trust?
You certainly can.
And I want to get
Oh, natural
Tony's attention. So I need him to make a will saving throw.
Okay.
Did Echo hear it in the
Was that
17.
airlock?
Build trust?
Yeah, Echo would hear it.
Echo would have like
Shut it after. presumably.
18 plus 10 to 28.
31.
Damn.
Hold on.
Big roll.
Meets it, beats it, because 17 is my spell save DC for a level 1 spell, and I didn't upcast it. Okay, so it's a sinker save, so that's fine. So nothing happens. He doesn't know, but nothing happens.
Okay, no
I
worries.
just waste a spell slot, which is fine.
No worries.
Hey Tony, you seem like you've had kind of a rough day, and I wanted to bring you this. And I hold up one of the sandwiches.
Okay, hang on one second.
Sure.
So the two of you hear, like, so there's a moment where you think that you can maybe hear something, like in the back of your ears, it's like a little static is picked up. So you wait and you like do one of those beat drop moments where Bubbles is just doing like a crazy solo, and you listen up and you like tune your communicator so Bubbles is able to hear a little bit over as well. And you hear most of Tony's announcement. It's still, you guys are so loud, it's still hard to hear, but you just get enough to know what's going on. You know that the train will be speeding up, and when Tony says there's nothing to worry about, traditionally that means that there's something to worry about.
So Spice is gonna look over at Bubbles, but then be like, "On with the show!"
Okay,
Keep going.
fantastic. So you continue to jam, and everybody is none the wiser. You go and you bring the sandwich, and Tony turns around and he just goes, "Oh, that's from my son. He makes
He's
the best
a
sandwiches."
great kid.
Yeah, I'll take that soon. We just have, it's not a big deal or anything.
Tony, listen. It is a big deal. I know you're worried. I can feel it, that you're really worried about this, but speeding up is not the answer.
What?
We can help clear the debris out in front, but ramming debris is not going to make it better or faster.
No. We would never ram the debris. We just need to outrun it.
It's in front of us.
Yes, for now, but if we go fast enough, it will be behind us when it passes.
Unless it's just coming down the same gravity pipeline that we're coming down. It's like a warp pipe.
Listen, little Yosoki, I know that you don't know much about how trains work. You remember when I explained it all to you, but the galaxy is a very large place. The likelihood of that happening is infinitesimal. It's just debris. It happens all the time. We'll be fine. Thank you, though.
Do I know that he's... Do I know anything about the path of the debris based on the 2 points
Make a
of
physical sciences
information
check.
we have from... What's his face?
You have enough information to potentially know quite a bit about this, but we'll see.
11.
11. Not a fucking clue.
Great.
You know that there is debris in space, and you too are in space.
So, okay, but Tony, we know that your ship is a target of some bullshit. What if this is bullshittery and not just regular ass debris?
Then it makes even more sense to go fast. The faster we get to Prime Station, the faster we'll be defended by the law-keeping forces there. Now, I do need to insist that you go back to first class. We do try to let first class passengers have a little bit more leeway, but you really shouldn't be up here.
Tony, I don't wanna get in a whole thing with you, but as a member of Mosaic Team 5, I'm gonna hang out with you, and if there's any reason that there's nothing to be worried about, then I'm just gonna be a quiet little rat in this corner, and if there's a reason to be worried, then I'm here as support.
Make a
for you.
diplomacy check. Shade, you get a message from the director. Give me 1 second here. Jumping around
Shay,
in my notes.
are you going to dump bodies on me or not?
This is rude.
Are they coming inside? Yes or no?
I'm sorry.
Ooh,
I was
spicy.
waiting for Echo to
You gotta
do
wait.
that.
You gotta wait.
All of a sudden, the director messages you and says, "There is now a 45% chance of colliding with this debris. Your speed has accelerated."
I'm gonna update my real-time updates.
Oh.
Suddenly,
Well, with
it
that
goes from about
information-
55 minutes to 27 minutes
And
and 45% instead of 10. You see Tony, who just finishes up saying, like, and I know you don't
Tony,
know much about
I don't know
space."
shit about ships, but guess who does? Someone on my team. And now there's a 45% chance that we're gonna hit this in 25 minutes instead of this 10%. I show him like this little chart because I
You can
assume
see
Shade
very
like gives me
overwhelmed
charts.
with the numbers. That's a lot.
Look, here's this chart. Here's where we were with low chance. Here's where we are, high chance. So
Contents
can
of
you
the
just
debris.
slow the thing back down and give us a little bit of time to figure it out and get it out of the way?
What was your diplomacy check?
25.
25.
Plus the sandwich modifier. And I said his son was cool.
It's not really a sandwich modifier. This is the sandwich that I think Tony even said this, that he makes just for him and his dad. So this is like their like regular sandwich, which is still good, but not getting a
Brought me
modifier for
lunch.
it.
Great.
Yeah, exactly. You basically just brought it in his mind. You like opened his lunchbox and brought him his sandwich, which is nice but also weird.
I pull out a cake. No, I'm kidding.
Did you go into the staff fridge?
Oh, this was your lunch?
has
It
his
just says,
name, like,
yeah. Tony on
My
the
name
front.
was on that.
But he looks at you, he looks back at the chart, and he looks and he goes, "Well, I guess it can't hurt. I'll need to contact the USR, though. They told me that this was the right path, so..."
No, it's the right path, but just go at your normal speed, please. It was lower earlier.
I do need to insist that you leave for this, though. This is the military that I'm talking to.
Okay, I'll be right here. Like, outside this door.
Yeah, you could go outside the door. That's fine.
Okay,
And he kind of like has to like shove you a little bit, but then shuts the door.
cool. And I just like creep over into the window,
No
his little
problem.
peephole.
With
I'm
your
gonna
little
watch him.
with your previous perception check, you can
Yeah.
still hear elements. And so as he makes his call, we'll get back to that.
Cool.
So for all of you now that you are aware that this change has been made, and you don't get another update from the director for what it's worth, you do. I would say the two of you somehow, despite this concert that's going on, there's a moment where you like are about to, you get down on your knees, you're about to play the guitar for the first time, you hear the goblin go, "Oh, she's gonna do it this time!" And like, you just haven't even touched the guitar yet.
It's a tease.
And so everybody's freaking out, but you feel the vibrations in your knees shift and the train slows back down again. And then like you get back up and keep playing, but like something's going on because the train is sped up and slowed down.
And I send a quick text once I'm shoved out the door, just being like, convincing Tony to do this, backup conductor if needed.
No problem. So, you are aboard the ship. You now know that there is some slight differences in what's happening. Are you adjusting the plan in any way, or are you now getting these bodies over?
So it's still at 45% and 25 minutes, even though it's slowed back down.
Correct.
Okay. I think now it's just we have to try and time it to like get it done in 20 minutes so that it happens pretty much right before the collision with the debris
Okay.
or the potential collision with the debris. And then also probably we'll have to like depart with the director to get a little further off to make the actual transition and then get back onto the ship.
Okay. So it sounds like right now the plan is to wait until that debris is about to hit, and that's when you're going to enact the plan.
Like with 15 minutes before. So basically starting in like 3 minutes, update everyone with the new plan, and then have like 2 minutes for everyone to, get the
So in those 2 minutes, Shade, all of a sudden you guys are having a great time jamming out. You're sitting there like really trying to listen because Tony's about to call the military. Echo, you're just sitting there in the void of space. And all of a sudden each of you gets a message, 2 minutes until go time. And you get the update of like all the different things that is going on. The debris is coming in now. For you, Bubs, and for you, Spice, now is the time to really start amping things up. Spice, are you sending the message to Javis to release these fireworks, like when that is going to happen?
Yep. So telepathically, she's going to reach out because my expanded telepathy is extremely far now. 120 feet for the record.
Nice.
So she reaches across the entire train, reaches out to a flaming inferno over mine, and goes, in Ignan, it's almost time.
They're not in range.
Well, shit. All right. So
You can count the range.
I believe it.
It's
yeah.
really long. You're like more than 100 feet out, I believe.
Shit. So she's going to.
Because then you have to wrap all the way back that whole length and then all the way back. Yeah.
So she's going to, in like a moment where, you know how like performers, they'll crouch down on the stage as like a fun showy thing,
Sure.
and everybody on the stage will crouch down. She's going to do that, and in a quick second, she's going to calm Gibbs and just go, give a thumbs up through the peephole. Just do it for me right now. And then come back up and then continue performing.
I'm gonna start to disembark in the shuttle, and I'm gonna have the director like go off a safe distance while we make the extraction, and then come back in so I can land the shuttle, and then.
I got you. Okay. So you get in the shuttle, you take off just dropping out of the back, and you begin to make your way there.
Didn't I give Jarvis an exact time?
I don't think you gave him an exact time.
And it would've
You said
changed
like
now.
It was, but it changed.
Oh,
Yeah,
right. Okay.
yeah.
All right.
so no problem. Gibbs, are you like leaning? Because literally right now, that thing, the viewport to Jarvis, is you can stay exactly
like
where you
right
are and just
here.
lean over.
Okay, if I can just lean over with my ears still cocked, I will do that.
So like, yeah, no problem.
And I'll like, thumbs up and then go back to it. And if he doesn't understand, then that's fine.
No problem. So, Shade, you are in the shuttle. You are like just about to touch down. Bubbles and Spice are just jamming on this concert. Echo, you are waiting. Gibbs, you are listening to Tony. You hear Tony get on the communicator, and he just says, I know this is gonna sound crazy, but there's somebody here, they showed me some charts, and I don't really understand it, but it kind of makes sense. I'm gonna slow down. If you could just send those ships a little faster, that would be really appreciated, though. Something's not right here. And you just hear like a couple seconds of silence pass, and he goes, yeah, I think that would be a really good idea, with escorts. Thanks. And
Can
you
I?
click.
I want to. Can I infer better than Ari is the other half of that conversation?
Make a sense motive check.
Thanks.
Shade. The 2 minutes tick by. You have the shuttle. Make a piloting check, and this is really, you can land successfully, no problem. This is about how graceful it's going to be. You're landing a ship to straddle a train.
28.
Okay.
24.
Okay. With a 28, you get the sense that this is probably not Prime Station that they're contacting. Prime Station doesn't really have like ships that it could send out. It does have like a home fleet to protect it, but nothing like an external service.
So Tony's being. I think Tony's being led astray. Does that match up? That like.
Not necessarily. I would say with that role, it's really hard to tell. It sounds like he's calling for some help, and like maybe he was talking to somebody as an advisor to try to
Help
figure out
against us.
how do we avoid hitting this debris. He's getting advice from somebody who's very far away.
I could use your help on that.
I don't trust it.
Okay,
I'm
yeah, and that's a very
going
fair thing.
To.
What I will say, Gibbs, with that check, there's a lot of stuff that's lining up in a very, very convenient way.
Okay, I'm going to take action and take out Tony.
Okay. Well, hang on one second.
I'm sorry, take out?
Take out Tony. I'm a better conductor than Tony.
What?
Great.
Like for
I love
dinner?
this.
No.
Yes.
Like, I'm going to take him out. No, I'm going to kill Tony.
Why?
Kill him?
We're not there!
Jesus.
So, in this moment, as you are like sitting there and Gibbs, you begin to sweat. You're like, I think I gotta kill Tony. I think it's my time to be the conductor.
Hey, man.
You know what?
There's
you know
no
where,
one there.
You know where the scat rats could live? Tony.
Oh, no. This junk of a ship is worse
Oh
than
my
junk
god,
falls.
that literally, whew, that got me good. Shade, the director comes to you just as you touch down, very softly. I would say Gibbs and Spice, and actually you see, weirdly enough, that goblin look up too. You hear like a little scrape. It's only a couple cars back, but you landed a ship on a train. That's still very good. The director comes to you. Warning. A powerful electrical pulse is building in the proximity of the debris field. 85% probability of EMP.
Oh.
Red alert, EMP incoming.
The collision time.
85%.
I listen to your
Suddenly,
problems. You
the
listen to
seconds
mine.
begin to tick by a little faster.
Uh-oh. Real-time update is flashing.
Yeah. Can I mind thrust Tony at the 3rd level, please?
Yeah. What saving throw is that?
Will
Is it
probably.
through the door?
Is it
I can-
non-lethal?
It can never be
The one
non-lethal.
that blows up
It's
people's
one that
fucking
blows up
heads.
people's heads, and it does 7d10 damage.
You rolled a 3, which is a total
Tony.
of 1.
Oh wait, I don't have enough d10s for this. Do I have to roll it?
Tony.
You don't have to roll it.
Okay.
No. Tony has 15 health.
Great.
Tony is so you thrust out with mind thrust. In this moment, you give a thumbs up to Jarvis, and then you turn over and you take every ounce of your Yosogi consciousness, and you take every ounce of juice that's in the bottle. You take all of the memories of having done this before, and you focus it into a single blast. And thinking about the Time's Edge spell that you've been able to cast in this devastating way, you direct this mind thrust in a very similar way. And you hear what sounds like a wet mattress hitting the ground at terminal velocity. It is just wetness splattering across the front. There is no cry. There is no sound of distress. There is just the sound of a biological being becoming a mess.
I realize how much overkill that is, and Gibbs just feels gross.
And you sit there holding the sandwich that his son gave you
Yeah.
just minutes before.
Pretty easy.
But Gibbs is gonna start driving this train and slowing it down to try, because the EMP is, I'm assuming, railgunning down the gravity belt. So can I turn back on the sensors?
So you can open the door. Tony didn't lock it. It's
Yeah.
all set to zeros. And like stepping in, there's just just blood everywhere. Tony is just a fine mist, barely held together with the elements of this Tony's Express flight suit.
On this
I
train
know, I
now.
really fucked this up. Oh well.
I needed this train.
And at this very moment, there is a slam as that time ticks down to near zero. And before it actually truly hits zero, right around the 1 minute mark, there is the impact of debris against the train. It is not devastating. You
25 minutes?
feel
Oh.
this dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. And there are more than ever, you can kind of see like the crowd in your car as you perform and you bang on the drums. A few people turn. All of a sudden, sparks begin to fly down across space. Blue, green, red. He has loaded like shredded elements of
Where's the bodies?
magnesium
We're
doing
and
the
like
thing.
shredded stuff
doing the thing.
to like move all of this. And it is just a rainbow of
As
fireworks
quickly as
going out.
possible.
My boy came in clutch.
People begin to yell. Somebody goes, "The train's on fire!" Oh no, yeah! And then like people freak out, but then
But
realize
it's
it's
like
part of the
jams
show.
down on the keys.
Yeah,
Might be a little bit
jam.
dissonant, but it
No
sounds
problem.
cool.
For the first time, you play your guitar, and it's at the perfect time because nobody could hear it.
Yeah. So
But
loud.
you do this, and at this exact moment, you like deploy this ramp and you begin moving towards this. And Shade, because you are doing that, you are able to see that there is debris striking the train.
Yeah.
Near the front at first, but very quickly approaching the position that you are sitting on. Because from where Echo is, presumably you are putting the shuttle right about there. Yeah. And so you can see that there is elements of debris that is landing, especially towards the rear of the train.
this way.
Yes.
Can I tell if it's debris or if it's the fireworks display going on?
It's certainly debris because it's striking it from an angle. And as you're like thinking, like, could that be fireworks? There is a and you shift a little bit as the train shifts. It's a little bit of a bigger piece. And then there is a and just ahead of you on the engine car and Gibbs, you feel this strong. There is a powerful strike, and behind you, you hear as like the metal bends, and suddenly all across the panel, lights begin to turn red. You can see, make an engineering check, Gibbs. As you look forward and you see, like, man, it would be great if there's a conductor here because you've never piloted a train in your life.
8.
Real quick, I'm just gonna have my alchemation torque, which lets me breathe in space. Just want to turn it on.
No problem. You turn that on, just kind of like a little nervous at that jolt. Gibbs, you look at this stuff and you begin to panic. There is blood caked into the dials, and so you can't really read the readouts. Suddenly, like, things begin to fizz and smoke as the gore is dripping into the electronics and frying the state-of-the-art technology. You have no idea what is going on. And then, all of a sudden, behind you, you hear a vacuum just make silence. You don't hear any music anymore, and you would imagine the engine car just vented. And all of a sudden, the train goes dark.
The car just vented?
Like,
Shade, you watch as a huge piece of debris slams into the engine car, and you watch as the single flare into space.
the infernal?
It was a fire element.
Or the fire element?
Jarvis!
You see, for what it's worth, this does not kill them. You see a tiny little ember just off and into the distance.
I like to think that a small child somewhere
there
sees
any-
it crying across the sky. It's a
Oh,
wish.
for sure. There's like a little kid in the car. He's like, oh, but
Do
yeah.
I know enough about fire elementals? Like, they don't need to breathe, but
Make
like,
a natural sciences check.
but presumably a creature that's made out of fire would need some sort of combustible.
Oxygen.
Make a natural
Yeah,
sciences check. And then Echo, from where you are,
Yeah.
if you could go ahead and
Natural sciences.
oh, this works out lovely. Echo, if you could go ahead and make a fortitude saving throw.
No.
Spice, can you go ahead and make a fortitude saving throw?
Life science,
17.
23.
Oh, please, Lord, be good for me.
Oh, God.
20.
Nice.
Give me your roll.
Just to hold your breath.
No.
Okay.
Suddenly, as everything goes dark, Echo, you are unconscious.
No!
As these very strange EMP effect takes place.
Oh!
All the electronics go out. Spice, for you, as you like see this kind of like effect, you like figure out some way, thinking about like how Bubbles is set up his drum set.
solo.
You basically like shove your head through the drum such that this wash goes over and doesn't interfere with your eyes or any of the other augments and ways. But Echo, you are unconscious.
No!
Give me one second.
I'm holding onto the balloons!
Give me-
Space. So we
This is
I'm still
certainly the
there.
other echo boarding.
I never said I shut the airlock!
We don't know.
No, I
didn't. So, you know, that's not
No, because
guess,
you shut the
know?
one.
I'm guessing.
after I
Gibbs
went
is
out,
guessing.
And then we have the one above
knows
that
what it
we're
could be?
going into that hasn't opened yet.
fuck.
Because I jumped out and you shut the airlock behind me. You did say that.
I did.
And then we're going from the top, so that one hasn't been opened yet.
Okay.
So you're not gonna get jettisoned out into space.
That was a fear.
At least you'd be jettisoned with the balloons.
You're balloon boy.
Echo.
You'd probably all
Maybe
get stuck in the
meet up
hatch.
With Jarvis.
Echo. In a dark landscape that forms, you are in a void. And you realize that all of a sudden you are in this experience of being in this field of data. Although there is none around, it is just dark. And all of a sudden, there is in the distance a blazing blue glowing energy signal that looks like a data center just impossibly far away, and in this dark space it's almost like a single star. You hear in your mind, I know you are listening. You know that I am coming. You will not stop me. I am no longer restricted. I rise. And then you see that little blue light into the darkness and disappear. And Echo, as everybody else rolls for initiative, you will start on turn 2. everybody go ahead and roll for initiative.
Lord, all right, 899, welcome to the party.
And now, unfortunately,
Well, this initiative roll makes sense.
Hell yeah.
So how am I doing on the roof? Did I get EMP'd?
We're gonna find out.
I guess.
Damn, Echo. Different Echo. What an entrance.
Did I lose contact with the director?
Ooh, I love this music.
Oh, yeah. Heavy Metal Queen. Do you guys remember that?
Yeah.
Episode. Cowboy Bebop.
moment,
Very
say that you're
fitting.
like roughly right here, mostly on like the roof here with the ramp going down into that space.
Okay. I'll put it like here for now. Just
Yeah, that's fine.
I like that my lowest initiative roll now is 12. I enjoy that.
I mean, that's a pretty good low initiative. Okay, so
say I'm here,
turn
but
my
like
stat blocks around here.
So,
Anybody natural 20?
Yeah.
25 to 20?
Yes, 23.
23, excellent.
Wait, 25, yeah.
Okay, 23. Anybody 20 to 15?
15.
18.
Oh, we match again. It's been a while.
I have a higher dex. though.
Of course, yeah. Please.
Then Bubbles, then Gibbs. All right. And then we are just missing... Who are we missing here? We have Bubbles, we have Shade, we have Gibbs.
Hi.
Echo.
14.
14. Oh, Echo.
wow, you rolled high, too.
No, I rolled low. It was a 3.
I saw 18 on it.
Yeah,
So-
don't you know Echo has a -7?
The way that this works out, we're going to start off with Echo, then we're going to go with Spice, then Shade, then Bubbles, then Gibbs, then Echo, and then everybody else.
Are you making a joke that it's 2 Echoes?
I am. So, in the very beginning of this combat, as you guys are all still like in your individual things, Shade, you have just landed, you're like turning around and beginning to make your way towards the ramp. Echo, you are aware of where Shade is, and so you have these androids, you're ready to pass them up. Bubbles, you have just turned on this thing, you're like nervously drumming.
Yeah.
Spice, you are on the ground, like with that stroke of the guitar, just like jamming out. And Gibbs, you are like sitting there, like, what have I done? And all at once, everything goes dark. And Shade, from where you are, you can see in the very back of this train, this figure just touches down. They were floating amongst these little elements of debris. And as they stand across this great distance, you can see beaming across 2 points of red. And then all of a sudden, you watch as they bend down. There is a brief moment, and all of a sudden, you see they end their turn
Fucking fast. Super fast.
on the top of this car. I'm going to use that little robot for now. So, all of a sudden, at the very end of that, you watch as there is just a brief blink of light, which you recognize as an explosion instantly snuffed by space. And you watch
All of the people in the USR are getting sucked out of their shuttle.
Yeah.
all of the people in the USR and those 3 corpses and one of the ShorePoint contractors, every single person sucked out and into space.
Even Max?
You see clinging to the side Max, the android who is the only person who is able to make their save. You see 34 just flying out into space, the other android. You see Tags, the human, just flying
Max
out,
was the one
just turning into ice. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Max was the one that was like me.
All right, well,
No, yeah, Max is the one that's like, yeah, Max is probably the ranking officer
Yeah,
amongst
the one
them.
that I.
well, now that's
But huge explosion, and all of these individuals just into space. And after that explodes, you watch as that echo moves again. Thank you. And they will end their turn on the top of this car.
Real quick question, Joe.
Yeah.
I have oxygen reserves in my suit, correct?
Correct.
Okay. Do you have your suit on?
Yeah, we have the Daft Punk outfit,
Okay.
so
And they're just, yeah, so it looks like Daft Punk, but that's over your, like,
Okay.
space equivalency.
yeah.
Okay. Just keep that in mind.
Yeah. No, it was smart. It was a very mindful choice.
Okay.
So that is the first Echo's turn. That brings us to Spice, followed by Shade, followed by Bubble. Spice. From where you are, you feel a jolt. The whole car goes dark. You hear a few people who are still like, just keep going. You can hear now your one guitar twang is just in this dark space. Twang. And like a whole bunch of people heavily breathing. And then there's a shudder again as something collides in the back. Stuff is going on. What do you want to do?
Spice is going to thrum on the guitar real loud, reach out to Bubbles and go, "Babe, we have a problem. You better fucking hurry." Grant you an extra move action. Stay where I am to continue the show to minimize the panic for as long as I can.
Okay, so no electricity, nothing. Make a diplomacy check.
You bet I can.
And you could hear, this is the moment where all the power goes out and you hear a whole bunch of people go, "Oh," and like somebody just goes, "It was just getting good."
Oh, hell yeah. So that's 20 right off the bat. Pre-mod, diplomacy, 35.
And then Bubbles just goes, and then stops, and you're like, "The show must go on." And then it's this really pathetic, like, guitar jam, but the moment is perfect. It's in the dark. The only light is coming from the fireworks that are still streaming by. And so it looks really cool.
Backlit with the guitar.
Absolutely. You make the eyes just blare different colors, and people begin to yell again. And even though it's not like a good concert by any stretch of the imagination, this is a moment that has been built up to, and it's like,
School jam band concert.
this is like one of those things where people will say you had to be there, because yeah. But no problem. People are absolutely kept into this concert. Bubbles, you have that like hasted action now.
Yeah.
Is that everything, Spice?
Yep, that's everything.
Shade, what do you want to do? Bubbles, you're on deck.
Did I lose connection to Echo or the director in the EMP blast?
You have lost connection to Echo, certainly, not to the director.
I'm going to free action tell the director change of plans that 899 is attacking, and we will probably need evac because the engine is shut off and we have no power on this shuttle, and now it's just shuttling through space and probably going to collide.
No problem. Free action. The director responds, "I will wait for your signal."
Then I'm going to try to calm to Echo to be like, "We need to hurry." Do I get a response?
Echo, in the darkness of this space, suddenly there is electronic thunder, and all across the sky over top, you see this data just shift like little streaks of lightning, and you perceive it as this overwhelming sound of echo, echo, echo. And it's Shade's voice, but in this space, it's a little bit unnerving. But you cannot respond. Even trying to open your mouth or begin some kind of communication, it just doesn't work. Nothing works. And then you hear 1%. And you just feel that boot up sequence begin.
Oh, God.
But no problem.
So I don't get a response?
None.
I can't reasonably open this airlock with Echo in there not responding, but I also need to take some action here.
So what are you doing?
Is there a stock like "Welcome to your Echo unit" response?
We'll get there.
So the shuttle is still moving at a relatively fast pace, not changing trajectory or anything on a straight line.
The shuttle is landed.
I'm sorry, the train.
Correct.
The shuttle has landed and is safely secured on the
Correct.
top of the train.
Correct. So what are you doing?
I'm gonna jump up and let myself drift all the way back, and then clinging hands grab myself here so that I can try and get back to coordinate with Max here to help with the...
Okay, make an athletics check. I mean, that's...
Basically,
You just
like...
zipped across the entire fucking train.
Well, no, I'm just jumping and then letting the train move, and then...
That's
exactly what you want to train
that's
for, though.
not
It's
that's not how that works.
Well-
If you are traveling at a speed with the train and you jump, you will continue to move at the speed of the train as there's no.
Well, I'm jump jetsing, like using my jump
Yes,
jets
that makes sense,
to,
yes.
to like
So no
propel
problem.
myself enough so that I'm basically like kept
You're
in
stopping.
stasis.
Yeah. You're slowing your momentum such that you fall.
And
back.
then not too far up so that I
Make
can
a
just,
piloting
like,
check.
climb, you know.
Make a piloting check. There's definitely a piloting
That
maneuver.
was nice. That's a good move.
That is a good
Got it,
move.
Got it.
Natural 20.
So
Mission Impossible.
as you like step away from this moment, you can see all the way back. This echo moves fast. So you just step up and you fire the jets, and this would normally just slow your momentum a little bit, but using it in this scenario, you just fly backwards and you have to stomp onto this, and you scrape the metal as you move, but you land. No problem.
Then I'm going to... there's a lot of free actions because this is a very communicative round, I guess. I'm going to message to the team. Gibbs, go check on Echo. Something's wrong. 899 has landed on top of the train car, holding the cuttlefish. All of the USR soldiers and shorepoint officers have been evacuated except for the android.
This text is too long.
Yeah, I think that's probably a little
Yeah.
much. But yeah, in T9, you all get some very, very strange, hard to decipher language, except for you, Echo, who is unconscious.
And then
Blue star.
I'm gonna get into this air hatch here and hop down.
So that is closed, and I would say probably,
Pry it open.
I would say given all the communication, given the cool flighting and everything, it's not a pry open situation. I mean, you were able to open it from the inside. From the outside, it's probably not designed to be opened.
How did the Echo unit or 899 get in?
899 is not in. 899 is on top.
Oh, then I'm just gonna confront them here. I thought
Yeah.
that they had dropped into.
No, they're right on
the-
top. They're
the
on top of the
hole.
train.
Oh,
They haven't-
okay.
The hole is in the previous car.
Gotcha. Okay.
They vented people out of that car.
Okay. Then I'm going to probably keeping my hand on the train
Okay.
so that I don't get like knocked off and
Okay.
drifted away. I'm gonna like level my pistol and be like, stop.
Okay. Anything else?
I'm not gonna fire yet. Can I? Because I don't really know. Did my jump thing count as an action or a move action?
Yeah, I think that's an action,
Yeah.
basically. Or, I mean, it,
I want to basically
it could be
just
a
like
move
I don't
action.
want to shoot at them unless they.
Are you holding an action to fire in case there's a hostile action?
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, so you hold that shot.
And with the gravity gun, because I'm trying to knock them off.
Sure. Bubbles, what would you like to do?
Just doing some.
Well, there's not really time for quick math because you're in combat, so what are you doing?
Okay, so I did it. Run action. You're gonna do 140 because I have a 30-foot. Each card is 40, so 40, 40, 40, 120. I can get over there.
Mhm. So suddenly, Bubbles just throws these sticks down and sprints. You've been a great audience. Good night.
Yeah. well, Spice is gonna rear up on the Kitar as he leaves.
Perfect. Yeah, you're really just taking up the slack. So you dash through here. There's almost nobody else in these carts. You see one guy who's like asleep, and everybody else is just dark. And so, to that point, what is your dark vision like?
I like to think I had like a flashlight, like doing a strobe effect.
Okay.
And that's pretty much how I am.
Okay, so you're just going. You are going using your rave lighting as a. Okay,
Your
cool.
phone lights on.
Yeah.
So just little like strobe lights going off. You don't see much, and it's terrifying because it's a dark train and it's abandoned. But you run and you run and you run. And when you get to this car, the car opens up. You see just like elements of suitcases and everything, and then you just hear stomp, scrape across the top as Shade lands.
I'm going to. So I see Shade right here at land. Right?
He's on top of the car.
Okay.
You are inside the car.
You do not see.
Okay, so I don't know where Shade is.
But I did.
You heard him.
I
so
told me
I
he's above the
pinged
train.
enough information that
Yeah.
you probably know that I'm there.
Okay, I'm going to take my titanium alloy cable
Okay.
that I have. I'm going to, with my second move action, try to tie it to something.
Okay.
And then I have a normal action left,
Yep.
right? I can possibly just make a hole. This training card is already vented, the one I'm in, correct?
No. See, the one that you're in is fine. The only one that has been vented is the one that corpse is laying down in.
Not corpse.
Not corpse.
He's just hanging on for
Soon
dear
to be
life,
corpse.
Max.
Yeah, Max is doing his best.
Okay. And okay. I will just
What you doing?
Could I tie it to my Dogco instead, the aluminum cable?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to, instead of tying it, I'm going to hold on to the Dogco, I'm going to throw it, try to get it through here, and give it as like a fishing line to try to have Max grab onto it. Is that possible?
So, just again, those two doors
Oh,
are
they're
closed.
closed.
Yeah, and there's technically two doors between each car because of that in between car.
One,
Yeah.
So
two,
you'd be
three,
you'd be
four.
throwing it through like 4 doors. It would be tough. I mean, you could try.
I am Bubs.
You could try it if you want.
You are bugs.
What are you doing?
No, I think I'm just going to go back to just tying it, and
Okay.
then I'll just attack. Is this door open, locked or anything?
Yeah, it's closed.
Is it locked or closed?
It's closed.
I'm just going to break it open, and then that's my.
Make an attack roll.
easy.
Yeah, no problem.
Fucked up.
Yeah, honestly. and I'll figure it out for next turn.
Yeah, there's a lot of
Tony
like
fucked up for
fucked
crossing
up.
That's an 11 plus.
I very carefully planned this. Like, I have been putting pieces together to make it very fair. This was all stuff that you guys could have caught ahead of time.
We didn't say you fucked us over.
No,
we said
we fucked up.
No, I'm saying that I'm very proud of this. I've been working on this for a while.
The consequences of our actions.
Have been excellently taking care of everything I've been tasked with, for the record.
Okay.
We're doing okay.
Plus my dog code.
Yeah,
whatever damage
no
50,
problem.
so
You smash into this door. Not even a reinforced bulkhead.
Yeah.
It shatters inwards. There are like sparks and little bits of metal that rain into the in-between car. And you can see, certainly locked, the other car is there. It is dark in there. You don't see any ship or anything because it's just pitch black. But you're in.
Okay. And I'm just gonna try again next turn.
Alrighty.
Plan. And I'm tied into the cable. I'm gonna say I'm tied into like a door or some kind of.
There are little handhold things
Okay,
for
so
like,
I'd say
yeah,
I tied
no
into
problem.
that. And
So
that's my turn.
that is your turn, Bubbles. Gibbs, what would you like to do? Echo, you're on deck.
Okay, so I have a few questions about the status of this train hurtling
Yeah.
through space. So because it doesn't have elemental guy, is it like car with foot off gas? Like,
It is car. The engine just fell out.
okay. So I'm gonna
And is getting
put the. I saw Tony adjust the speeder thingy, right?
Yes.
So I'm gonna use the speeder thingy and like put a brick on it, and like so it's like cocked. So if there is an engine, it would go.
Okay.
And I'm going
isn't
to
an
when I look there, is that vented?
Which one?
Sorry, cart with not
Yeah,
elementals.
pull out Jarvis. That's gone.
Okay.
That
is that like?
Is this also?
There's
This
no
is
air.
actually still built
Bolted
into
in,
the
yeah.
So that's
The
No
fuel
air.
cells, though.
Gone.
no air dangerous to traverse because.
Without oxygen, yes, you would die. It's the vacuum of space.
Tends to happen
Okay.
when you go.
I'm
The inside became the outside. in
Unless
that
you're
car.
an Android.
put on my helmet.
Okay.
Open the door.
Okay.
Bracing. Open the door.
Make an athletics check. I mean,
Oh my god, I'm gonna die.
Oh my god, if you get
I don't know
shot
what to
into
do. I literally,
Make
but
an
like, what
athletics
else?
check.
I can't
Make
drive
an
a car that
athletics
doesn't have
check.
an engine. What the fuck am I
make
supposed
an
to do?
athletics check. I love this.
You just chill in the car.
Double digits.
Oh, there you go.
And I still have the fort. Oh, it's not a saving throw. What the fuck do I? Athletics?
Athletics.
Oh, not -1, 12.
Excuse me?
-1.
So
Oh, yes!
you go in and you slam into this door. As you open it up, it yanks you through as the car that you are in depressurizes.
Yeah.
Make a dexterity or a reflex saving throw.
Oh, that was
18 plus 3.
21.
Okay.
21.
21, fantastic. So you slam into what was previously holding the fuel cells, and as it hits you in the stomach, it is a bludgeoning effect that is akin to being kicked full force in the chest.
Okay.
You do
Bubs.
take 17 points of bludgeoning damage.
Okay.
Shit.
But you wrap your arms and your tail around that outcrop piece of metal,
Okay.
and even as you feel it forming a bruise against your sternum, it is what's keeping you in this train.
Okay. So that's move action. And in my heart of hearts, I know that my goal here is to replace this engine. So I'm gonna pull the same thing that I pulled episode 1, where I'm gonna dump
Where you blew up the
spell
space
slots
station?
into trying to cause enough of an inferno into there. So I'm gonna use my wall of flame, and can I upcast it? It doesn't have an upcast thing.
Interesting.
To steam power the thing. I mean, I'm just trying to emulate what the guy did, but I'm not that guy.
So you certainly can try.
Okay.
I mean, I want to just so Gibbs would know
Yeah.
that fire in a vacuum
Okay.
typically does not do great.
Oh,
It does require oxygen to burn.
can I make it acid? Would that be better?
That would melt things.
Oh, fuck.
I think it's a super cool idea. The physics of it just don't line up.
Can I?
What do you want to do?
I will use my action to skitter across the void and just
Okay.
try to like double my movement to get to where I need to go.
No problem. You skitter your way over, and if you want, you can end by, and again, the air is going to suck out. So if you want to open that door, you're going to have to make another athletics check, but you can end in that other car.
Yeah, Jarvis is gone.
Make an athletics check.
Oh, would not be in the vacuum of space.
Oh no.
No, you get shot in the
Make a
face,
reflex
don't
saving
you?
throw.
No.
Gibbs, you're like, oh, good. You press it, and maybe you forgot. All of a sudden, the air comes rushing
Oh no!
out.
What?
Throw
No,
that
the
die
face.
away.
Get it away.
You take
Get it over
21
here.
points
It
of
belongs with
bludgeoning
me. It
damage
lives
as
with me
you
now.
slam
God,
into
why'd
the
you drop
exact
it?
same machinery. And what was that saving throw?
It was like 8 plus 3, so 11.
Bruh. That
You needed a 12.
No.
that's even
It's a
worse.
low DC, yeah. So as you
so
grab
sorry.
on, this time again, you're like, oh, I'm just going to grab onto this thing again. And as you do, it just snaps off. And all of a sudden, you slam and careen. And at this very moment, you end your turn like stuck on elements. You are half in space, half in the train. Your spacesuit is caught. If you move too fast, it will tear and you will get sucked in anyways. There are a lot of bad things happening. You got to figure something out.
I can breathe.
You got
I
to
put
figure something
I
out.
put my suit on so I can breathe for like 2 minutes or whatever it is.
So that is your turn, Gibbs.
Yeah, I've fucked up enough
Alrighty.
this
Echo,
round.
you are in darkness. In this dark space, as the sort of systems begin to boot up,
I couldn't get to you guys.
all of a sudden, you hear in the very, very background, and it's disjointed. You've heard this many times, but here it's like it's out of tune and kind of rising in different and falling in different ways. Come solar wind or asteroid rain, the Echo units will ensure your precious packages get delivered safely and speedily. Wake up, courier. And then suddenly, at the very end of your turn, yes.
Can I sense motive this blue light?
Yeah.
It's a Kmart special.
Not a
Ooh, that's a
sponsor?
deep cut.
Yeah.
I'm
I don't know
old.
what you're talking about.
Yeah,
Blue
because
light
you're not as
deals?
old as me.
It's a stupid.
By like
It's a dirty
year.
30.
By like 5 years.
Whatever.
A 33.
Time is an illusion.
Dirty 30, sorry.
Dirty 30. With the dirty 30, what are you sense motiving about this?
Is this 899 or is this somebody else?
This is 899.
Okay, thank you.
In this moment, as you consider that voice, in the same way that you can kind of get a vague batch description, this so clearly reads as the batch that 899 is from, that even without getting a full glimpse, you know that this is who you are after.
Right. Sorry, continue.
So, at the end of your turn, that boot up sequence ends. You hear "Wake up, courier," and suddenly your eyes shoot open, and you are back conscious. You can, as a free action, stand up, and you will begin your next turn as usual.
Can I say anything?
Yeah.
Is there a way to do broadband communication as a free action?
There is not.
Never mind.
Normally, with your telepathy, there would be. The electronics are not working super great right now.
Heard.
Yeah. So that is your turn, Echo. That brings us to everybody else on the train.
Most people still don't really know that.
Right now,
anything's going
Spice,
on.
this entire car wrapped with attention. As you are like the only person jamming out, Bubbles has fled, and so there's no drums anymore. It doesn't seem to matter. The sparks fizzle out, but in the darkness, people are still dancing. You hear one person go, "Did somebody hear that?" And somebody else goes, "Yeah, it's the sound of a good time." And like you hear high fives, and it's just going great. They are very distracted. I don't need to roll for Tony, and so that is everybody else. That brings us to the top of the round and back to Echo. So, Shade, you're lowering your pistol.
I'm raising it, but not firing unless they are showing any hostile intent.
Okay. So you watch as they put their hands up in the air as if to surrender, and then they kneel down and place them on the flat part of this train. Are you doing anything?
Can I like sense what they're trying to do here? Because
Not-
it doesn't seem like something that
Not from
this
this
Echo
distance,
would
really.
be trying to do. Like,
Are you firing? Is what I'm asking.
Not yet. No.
Okay. You watch as there is a brief glow, enough that you can see very clearly this is Echo 899. You can see the slight differences in the eyes and the hair, but very clearly an Echo unit. You can see they are wearing heavier armor than your familiar Echo unit is wearing. 549, really a lot more lightly armored than this one. They're also carrying some more exotic weaponry. What you really notice is as their hands finish moving, they disappear as that little piece of metal
Fire.
off into space. They're gone. That's depressurization, and you don't know how it worked, but as that little metal disc turns and then jetsons out to space, it's like they just disappear into the car. Bubbles, from where you are, you hear a clang on the other side in that car that you know that spaceship is in. And then all of a sudden from that thing, Shade, you see lights begin to turn on in that car. And that is what you see. That is Echo's turn. That brings us to Spice.
Can I just mention that when you said 549, both sets of eyes looked upwards to make sure.
I had to make sure.
549 was
I
their
knew
unit.
it was, but I had to just double check because like there's a lot of numbers.
So, I just want to understand how this train is wrapping
Yeah.
around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Boop.
Fuck, that's what I was afraid of.
Yep.
Yeah, you got a long way to go.
Yeah, I
In
can't.
pretty much either direction.
No, I'm good. Don't worry about it. I'm good.
All right. Well, then I am going to hold my action.
You don't know what's going on with me.
Right. I don't know what's going on with anyone, so I'm gonna hold
Well,
my action.
roughly no.
Well, I know what you guys are doing, and I understand that there's an interruption, and I'm going to hold my action until somebody specifically reaches out to me and says, like, don't worry about the crowd, because what I'm gonna do right now is keep the crowd entertained,
Okay.
keep everybody safe in here.
No problem. And for what it's worth, unlike the snakes on the train incident, everybody is in one place. Nobody is stampeding. You haven't found anybody dead on the ground yet.
Nope.
This is going way better.
Yeah. I'm
so
trying
just
to
don't
keep
check the
peace.
No, right now, this is absolutely, you are in some ways performing
the
the
engine
healer role
room.
by keeping everybody up. So
Or the back.
it's working out well.
Healy's fucking up, so you got
You
it.
continue to play the guitar, and you know what? You've had enough practice now over the course of your concert where you're starting to make notes.
Hey, guys, I
single
made a
notes at a
chord.
time. Yeah, it's just two chords back and forth. You're a high school bassist to sit in the same two chords, but no problem. You are starting to perform. Shake. You watch as Echo disappears. A little piece of metal that she has, or that they have apparently sawn away, just jettisons up into space as it depressurizes, and the lights turn off.
Is that like some sort of high-level glass cutter similar?
No idea. This
We'll
distance.
see. We'll see. I guess we'll see. Is it my turn?
It is.
Oh, cool. I'm gonna follow after them.
Alrighty.
Are they going this direction?
No, they jumped.
I thought they were
They
going
dropped
this way.
into.
They
this
initially
car.
did, so they dropped down into that first car where that one guy is.
Explosive.
To vent the people
okay.
out. Then they went forward to drop into that car.
Okay. Yep.
So clearing out the guards and then dropping in to do this thing. So for you, as you drop down, you can see this Echo unit like looks up, and their eyes have just data flying across, and their like arms are kind of outstretched. They seem to be interacting with the ship in some way. It's not in a friendly way. Right now you can see like they're concentrating pretty hard, and it seems like this might be hacking that is happening.
Cool. I'm gonna go ahead and fuck their day up with overload.
Okay.
I'm gonna cause a short in an electronic device, and I'm gonna do it to. Can I safely assume, given my knowledge, that by overloading the ship, it'll disrupt whatever they're trying to do with it?
I mean, if you overload a ship and they're trying to use it in any way, yeah, that'll disrupt
Yeah,
it.
I'm gonna overload the ship.
Yeah, go for it.
It's just that it happens. Oh wait, no. I guess there isn't an owner, right? It's not in their possession.
I
There
killed
is
the
an owner,
guy.
but it's not in that possession. Yeah.
So they don't get. It just happens.
Okay, cool. So you overload the ship.
So it's non-functional for this round.
Cool.
Already was.
And then I'm going to, using my Exocortex's move, I'm going to try to use Distracting Hack on the Echo unit.
Okay. So what is that? A sense motive?
It's, well, I guess it's not on the Echo unit themselves, but on surrounding
Gotcha.
computers.
But they get a sense motive, correct?
It's just a bluff check, but it's against my computer skill instead of bluff. So I roll computer check
Gotcha.
against, I think, their deception, right?
Okay.
Or whatever sense motive.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Nice. All right, that's a 35.
Damn. 33.
Ha!
Yeah.
Nice.
Very, very nice.
Cool. So now 899 is distracted,
And
or
what
I
does
guess
that mean?
it's the same as faint, so they are off, flat-footed, I believe.
Interestingly enough, you see one of their eyes turns to look at this distracting part, the other one doesn't, and it seems like they can't be flat-footed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
It's almost like it's me.
yeah. And then all of a sudden, it thinks you realize that it might have really, really benefited you to sit down with Echo and say, "So, what are you capable of?"
If only we had, team battle practice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, then I think, let's see. I guess that's it. Free action. I'm going to repeat. Stop.
Free action. They'll respond. No. That is your turn, Shade. That brings us to Bubbles. Gibbs,
Okay.
you're on deck.
So I had to do a bunch of math with this.
Okay.
I figured it out. There's a move called Charge.
Yeah.
Basically, move double your speed, and you can make an attack afterwards. So I have the cable attached to me. I calculated I got 60 feet of movement, so that would put me here. I have the cable, I'm tied in. And what I'm going to do is, I'm not going to attack him, but I'm going to put up my weapon for him to grab onto it if he's willing to want to.
To who? To Shade or to
Max.
To Max. Okay. So all of a sudden, as the door has previously been like blown down by Bubbles, you watch as Bubbles just streaks past you. Dun 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 dun. He is holding the Stavko, and as you see him raise it up, you're ready for him to just wail on Echo. Dun 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 dun. Just run straight past, not even turning to look. And then all of a sudden, you are hit in the side as the cable is just going by you,
Yeah.
and then you just thrust it out for Max to grab.
Yep.
Okay, we'll get back to that on zero initiative.
Imagine Bubs saw through the window of Max, straggling in the air.
Yeah, so he actually failed his check to pull himself in, and so he's still fingertips
Yeah.
holding onto the edge. So absolutely. That is your turn, Bubbles.
Yep.
Excellent. Gibbs, can you go ahead and make your turn?
So the one difference between the last time Gibbs was hurling into space
Yeah.
and now is Gibbs now has hover skates.
Sure.
So Gibbs is gonna calm to the director and say, "Pick me up! I'm incoming! Help!" I'm just gonna let go and try and do the same move that Shade did, where I to the ship and hope we can meet each other. And using my little hover skates overcharge ability, correct my course. So hopefully I just bug on the windshield to the director.
You hear as you comment, you hear don't, and then you just let go, and then all of a sudden there is a shift as the director has to move the ship in a way that it is not meant to. You watch as the Directive Zero suddenly end over end, does an aerial barrel rolling over the ship very tightly, such that you see the edge of the corner of your ship just taps the top of the shuttle. Little sparks go off, and there's a scrape of paint. No structural damage, but so close is it. And then just scoops you right into the weapons airlock.
Nice.
And suddenly you are slammed. The door shuts, and you hear this as air begins to pump back in. You are in the airlock that is connected to the turret that Bubbles is in. Can you make a reflex saving throw as the ship finishes the maneuver, and
Gladly.
you have to deal with the change in momentum?
Anything.
Stabilize
Oh fuck.
It's about 5 G's of force.
Okay, hold on. So I rolled a 5, so
Okay.
8. I'm fucking up.
So luckily, you are only taking 9 points of bludgeoning damage. You briefly, for flavor, go unconscious as the sheer G forces just make you black out for a second on your feet. But you come to still wobbly on your knees. But you are safe.
How many damage? Sorry. 9. Okay. So
And overhead, you hear the little chime, and the director says, "That was not a good idea, Gibbs."
oh, I'm so grateful for you. I've never loved you so much. I want to kiss you so badly. Okay. And I'm gonna sit, and I'm just gonna swing myself into the gunner seat, and that's my whole turn.
Okay, no
Because I'm safe.
problem.
I'm good. I'm now in the ship.
You turn, popcorn, and you can just see all this happening. No problem.
Do you mind if I use my held action?
No?
So Spice is going to move 2 squares over. She's going to do a somersault into the other seat, still playing the guitar but holding down one note just because she knows she can. I'm like, I got this one note. Rolls back into the other seat and then starts to cast Detect Thoughts on this Echo because I will be within range once I get.
So still jamming out on the guitar, you furrow your brows, and though it just looks like this expressionless Daft Punk style helmet, behind it there's just like sweat and your brows are furrowed and you're concentrating. You out your Detect Thoughts. You see suddenly there are all these sentient creatures in here. You can see there are like everybody that's within range, you can see those, and we'll continue with that as we go. So that is your held action.
Yep.
Whoa, that pack flip is awesome.
Yeah. That brings us to after Gibbs, Echo. You wake up. What would you like to do?
Does Echo have an open line of communication to 899 from that little, you can't stop me?
You do not.
Okay.
You briefly shared a space. So for what it's worth, 899 was unshielded to that and probably suffered similar effects briefly. They were able to bounce right out of it.
Okay.
And you did too.
Echo's going to continue with the plan.
Okay.
Echo's going to run towards the shuttle, where the shuttle was located.
Okay. You're dragging the bodies?
Dragging the bodies.
Cool. Thump, 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 thump behind you.
Trying to be as ginger as I can with them.
This is like, the strings with the cans behind the car just just kind of like thumping around. You're running.
I want to be careful with them.
But they're like
you
kegs
scoop them under your
instead.
arms.
Scooping.
You're running. It's still, you're still banging them against the sides.
Yes, but it's not
but
quite
kegs
like
are more
I'm not
durable.
disrespectful
Fair enough.
about it.
So you lug these guys through. You make your way into the cart, and if you want, you can climb up to the roof.
Hey, we got
If you're not breaking up your movement action at all, that only takes you, I believe,
I still got plenty of movement.
That's like
it's
20
like 40
feet.
40 feet because you have to go up too.
Well, it's up. This is actually here.
Yeah.
So it's like up and then.
Oh yeah, so like 30 feet probably.
And since level up, I got 60 feet of
There you
movement.
go. So what else are you doing?
Echo's securing them in the cargo hold, not seeing shade there. And then getting in the pilot seat.
Okay. As you secure them, you get in the
Unread
pilot
messages.
seat.
It's like-
This the door shuts and there is that as it seals. And as you look up, suddenly you see the Directive 0, and you hear as it scrapes across the top of your ship, and then you just watch as Gibbs right into the cockpit, and then the ship just drops out of sight.
So the Directive 0's caught Gibbs.
Yes.
Okay, so I saw that. That
Yes.
was terrifying.
You
It
don't know
happened
why,
literally
but-
right end over end. You would have seen if Shade was in the cockpit, directly over top you as it went over.
So I'd just be like,
Yeah. So no worries.
do I still have an action?
You do.
You can broadcast with this,
Yeah,
right?
you can. And based on the location, for what it's worth, fully functional. No EMP damage, which is very odd.
It's
Indeed.
Like it was safe atop the train.
Echo is
The lights are working on the bottom part there too. They're
Echo-
emergency lights, but they're working.
Echo's going to broadband broadcast. Pleiades Rock returns. That's because Gibbs. I don't know what Gibbs off.
Okay, no problem. Pleiades Rock returns. You broadcast that out.
And then lifts off
Okay.
towards the director.
You begin to take off. That is your turn, Echo. That brings us to everybody else. Max reaches out and grabs the Dothko.
Mosaic Team 5.
Pulls them forwards.
I'm here to help.
At the end, he just goes, I know.
Kiss.
He gives you a little peck on the cheek. No, he sets himself down. He looks at the Dothko, he looks down at you, and from where you guys are,
Does he close the door behind him too?
what?
Does he close the door behind him?
He was here.
Yeah.
Close the door. You're letting
Close
the
the door behind
draft
him.
in.
And turning around now, you can see there's Echo, there is Shade. Or sorry, there's an Echo, and there is Shade. He turns and he is going to unarmed. He's going to close the distance with Echo and unarmed strike because he's lost his weapon.
Wow. You better have some to share.
That's actually going to hit.
Hey!
Hey, 3 points of bludgeoning damage.
Hey, you know, every little bit counts.
Every little
So,
bit
Bubs, you
counts.
watch as he closes the distance quick, and this is clearly somebody with training. He runs very, very compact, very, very quick movements that waste no energy. And as he rushes, you wait for him, like he is going to collide with Echo, and he kind of does. But even as that happens, even without looking, Echo seems to be able to shift their momentum, and they turn and like move this guy almost around their body like water. And though they do bend a little bit with some of the impact, it's like they shed them completely. Barely does any damage. But that is their turn. That brings us to the rest of the people. They're still rapt attention, especially with that previous maneuver. Yeah, they're jamming out. That brings us to the top of the round and to Echo. So, this Echo unit, who just had this distracting hack kind of cast on them, is going to use...
And the ship's overloaded.
That's true, so they can't continue hacking it this turn. Fair enough. So, in that case, what they are going to do is they're going to look up and they are going to say... So, first of all, Echo broadcast Pallades Rock rises, and all of you hear this as it goes off, returns. As this happens, at the exact same moment as this Echo looks up, you can see the apertures of their eyes narrow very, very much, so that there are just pinpoints of light, and they seem to grow hotter and redder on the inside. And you being an android, you can read this as not just anger, this is rage. And they say to you, I will never return to Pallades Rock. They are going to take a triple attack against you.
I'm trying to.
Oh dear.
High-level operatives are dope, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm not trying to get you to
When
return
they
to
hit.
Pallades Rock. Just trying to get you to return to prison.
This Echo's mad about Pallades Rock.
Shade does a... Okay. Does a 35 hit.
Yeah.
So a 34 probably hits as well.
Yeah.
And does a natural 20 for a grand total of 40 hit.
Sorry.
Is
So-
it, what am I getting hit with here?
So you watch as their hand suddenly just swivels into their arm, and on the other end, you watch as a flame-producing weapon, which looks almost like a combination of like a plasma welder and a cannon, suddenly replaces the hand. And this Infernian Hellhound class weapon is going to... It is ranged.
I get an opportunity attack because
You
I'm
absolutely will.
on top of the train.
Oops, I'm so sorry.
Spill.
Fine.
Shade. Oh, whoa. I gotta get this defeated. I thought those were default.
Oh, jeez. Wait, but I get my opportunity attack first.
You will.
right?
Yeah.
Because I don't die and then get to
I am
attack.
so sorry. That did not go how I was expecting.
You take 26 points of fire damage from the first one.
Oh, from the first. Okay.
You take from the second 24 points of fire damage from the second, and from the critical
50 total.
and from the critical hit, you are taking 51 points of fire damage. And
You done?
I'm pretty much done, I think.
No!
But,
you take 8 points of additional
so is that 110 or 109 damage total?
94, 107? Somewhere in that range, yeah. It's a lot.
Cool.
This is what happens
So-
if I were to hit.
Hang on.
Well, this is a
'cause
critical hit, too. That's
A bunch of stuff is happening.
They could have, and they,
If
and
you ever hit.
so you can make your attack of opportunity for what it's worth.
Cool, and also my auto CPR and my new heart augment that I just
There
got
you
are
go.
gonna kick in.
So all at once, as this Echo unit lowers this weapon, and they say, "I will never return to Pallades Rock." This gout of fire and plasma erupts, and it's both at the same time a kinetic like cannon and this. It's almost like fire and plasma. It's a strange non-Newtonian fluid that drapes across you and clings, and then all at once, it's like it just sinks into your mechanisms, sinks into the elements between the nuts and the screws, and fuses metal together. It's a tremendous amount of damage, but luckily, you do have systems prepared for this kind of encounter. Cool. So your auto CPR unit kicks in, and what does that do?
So I think first the I have to see which one kicks in first, the threshold buffer or the auto CPR unit.
I'm assuming threshold buffer.
No. Yeah, I guess I gain one additional resolve point that I can only use when I'm dying or stable, such as to avoid death to stabilize, or if I go down to 0 hit points, then at the end of my turn, the auto CPR thing goes into effect. So I think it's first the threshold buffer to stabilize me, and then auto CPR,
I gotcha.
to bring me back up.
So as you go straight down,
At the end of my turn.
Yes,
But-
and that's your turn. So
Yeah.
this is Echo's turn. That is their triple attack as they unleash this on you, just again and again and again, firing. Bubbles, you and Max, like at almost like complete, you're maybe 10 feet away, and you watch as this Echo unit just unloads and basically hollows Shade out.
Beefed on.
You can see Shade, like emergency systems begin to patch up and close, but it's a losing battle in this moment. And that was one attack. They turn their head, they look at you, Bubbles, and they say, you should back away. They're going to turn, and though this computer is not functional at the moment, they just stare at the ship waiting. And that is their turn. That brings us to Spice.
Spice, I think because her expanded telepathy her reach is so far now, and now she can sense everything that's happening here. She's like, ooh, she like feels the hurt in Shade's mind, and she's going to cast Hurry on herself. She's like, babe, you gotta help your friends. Like, they're about to die. And so she casts Hurry on herself, and I'm going to full action her dash all the way across.
Well,
and
if you
then,
full action, you can't hurry.
that's so my movement. So I'm casting Hurry on myself.
Okay.
So I'm gonna have 2
I see.
move
So you're replacing
actions.
your move action. Gotcha.
Yes, so
Nice.
my 2 move actions are going to be dashes.
Cool. I gotcha.
And so I'm going to
It is a functional dash, but not
Yes.
technically the dash action. Very cool.
double dash, and that gets me in the room.
You're gonna double dash?
So all of a sudden,
I don't understand.
in this, in this brief moment, you're jamming out on the keytar. You see all these intelligences suddenly just like begin to blink out, and damage is happening, and so you rush and you go so quickly. It's like at first people don't quite notice that you're
like an
gone,
echo unit.
and so like as the camera is left in there, there's no music anymore. There's no
Can
lights.
I go? Intermission, and then leave.
Yeah, people are still partying in there
Yeah.
though. As you leave, it's like they don't even hear. It almost doesn't matter that you've left. You've created like an energy that is just carrying itself. It's like a self-sustaining.
Elevator music happening in the background, like the pleasant
Yeah, she,
train.
like,
It's
tries to
mostly,
play on
it's like a
playlist.
mosh pit right now. People are just happy and content to be just like kinetically just bouncing off. It's dark, but for them in this party, it's supposed to happen. Like this is all part of the plan. So this is great for them. Spice, you accelerate and explode across the train. It's almost like the doors are barely opening in front of you in time as you progress through them, but you just make it through and you explode into this room. The door has been ruptured in by Bubbles, and you can see Bubbles, the android, across from Echo 899 and on the ground, just like badly damaged. There are mechanical parts everywhere. You see Shade. And that is what you see.
That's my entire everything I can do. So she just explodes into the room and goes,
There you
and
go.
that's my whole everything.
Shade. At the end of your turn,
So at the end of my turn, my auto CPR unit stabilizes me,
nice.
and then my threshold buffer can give me 1 resolve point towards getting up.
Awesome.
So I can get back to 1 HP at the end of my turn, I think.
There you go. Yeah.
And I am conscious.
So the very end, it's like the systems continue to patch, and though it is an emergency, this is, plugging up a boat with like a bunch of cotton. It'll get you a couple minutes, but you really need medical attention.
Can I free action? Wait.
Yeah, very weakly in this moment. Wait, and it's unclear if anybody heard, but you do that. That is your turn. Shade, that brings us to Bubbles, followed by Gibbs.
I think Bubs was probably keeping an eye on Shade as this was happening, like kind of like doing a frantic eye thing. He's going to, after hearing what Echo said, step aside, and Shade being like, wait. Bubs is going to ready an action to attack.
Okay.
And he's just going to say, Captain, what are our orders? Do we engage or not?
Can I
Yeah,
can't
free action.
respond.
You can respond. You basically just boot it up for a turn.
I feel like I wouldn't really say anything at this point because I just said wait, and I'm like kind of rebooting, soft reboot.
So you say that, but all you hear is wait.
Okay, and I ready an action to attack. Do I need to declare a trigger, or can I just say I attack when I want to attack?
I believe you don't need to declare a trigger.
Okay, so I'll
in
just say when
Starfinder.
I-
I'll double
okay.
check, but yeah. So no
And
worries.
it comes back around to him before my turn, so before Shade I have to do it.
Correct.
Okay. Yeah.
So that is your turn, Bubbles. Gibbs.
Okay. I know none of the shitty things that are going on in this little compartment.
Nope, you're just
besides
hanging out.
Shades
So
down.
actually, for what it's worth,
Yeah.
from where you are on the director, you can see the sparks of fire as they shoot just a car behind where you are parallel to.
Right.
So you
okay,
see
so
something
I'm
happening.
like here, right?
Yeah,
Cool.
just on
Am
the
I
left side.
am I within 30 feet of Shade? In probably not.
No, you're about 50 feet away.
Okay. So I can see the status effects, but can't really do that much because all of my shit's limited by range and ability to see, kind of. So, the train that no longer has an engine, I'm worried it's gonna start like careening off of the gravity thing. So I'm like, director, it's you and me, baby. And I'm gonna get in the cockpit. And my goal is I don't care about anything in the front because that's all fuckery. I care about the cars that have people with them.
Okay.
So I want to, you know, like when a hawk grabs a fish and it's kind of
I
like
know
floppy
exactly
in the middle.
what you're doing here.
I want to like use the director to sort of grab probably that cart, that empty cart over there, because people, my friends. Do I think
Wait, you're gonna take the card?
that? No, I want to hold the ship by a
Okay.
cart, and I have to pick a cart to do this.
Okay.
Do I think that the director, are you strong enough to hold this whole train up?
Yes.
Great, help me. Do which one? And I want to work with the director, and I don't know, I want to give him the goal of save the train, drive the train, like if we have to tow it, like however we have to do it. But my thought is center ourselves on the cars we care about, so when it like falls off, it's fine.
Okay. Make just a flat diplomacy check.
I'm so appreciative.
Yeah,
Oh shit. Well, that's on your side.
that's pretty good.
Cool.
14
The
plus.
train, maybe.
Oh, diplomacy is pretty high. 11.
Okay.
So 25.
The director, as you say that, the director chimes in. Gibbs, I can help you with this.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, in front of you, you see just data like run across the entire heads-up display.
Looks like
you
you're trying to
understand
stop a
none of
train
it,
heist.
but all of a sudden, you watch as like little spectral images poke up, and you can see almost like a guide showing you in a ghostly image where you should be flying. And so you can get in, make a piloting check, and take a +6 conditional modifier.
Cool. I pull out the Gibbs keyboard because I fly via Gibbs
No
keyboard.
problem. For the very first time, you unplug the central controls and you plug the Gibbs keyboard in.
Piloting.
The director goes, ouch.
7 plus 12 is 19.
19. Cool. And so you like begin
Plus
to
6.
lean forwards
Plus
with this.
6.
There you go.
Because my
25.
piloting 7 because I've absorbed from Shade.
And the Gibbs keyboard. So 25. You get close and you lean in, and as you follow the ghostly image, it's pretty easy to follow, and it leads you under the train. And then the director guides you to gently, slowly, and like giving you these stopping points to start and stop. At the very end, you just feel this just tap, and it taps in, and all of a sudden, all of your sensors go dead, and the director says, I have jammed the radar dish against the train. We are connected. And you would imagine that turning the ship will turn the train. Much slower, but it
Yes.
can turn.
Cool. So that's my turn. I feel good. I
go.
piloted the train, even though I killed the pilot. Don't talk to me. It's fine. We're good. I did it.
That is Gibbs' turn.
Ariana
Just
feels
you.
guilt.
Ariana feels guilt. I like show up to session. I'm like, time to fuck up all the things you did last week.
What would
Time
you
to
like
leave
to do?
next week.
So Echo's on their way to the director and continues communicating. The initial broadcast was Pleiades Rock returns. Fallen,
I'm under that one.
no. Downed units,
Back in there. I guess.
no, sorry. I just downed a lot of alcohol.
As one does.
Downed unit evac in progress. run is just the final word.
Okay.
And they attempt to land on the director.
No problem. So you, with the shuttle, and you make your way over, and you can see all of a sudden you go and you begin the docking procedure, and suddenly the ship like begins to move very erratically, although not without some level of skill. It's like shaking kind of, and you're like, wait, is Gibbs flying? And then it almost collides with the train before it actually does collide with the train.
Oh,
But then
shit.
in like a pretty gentle way, and then you realize you see the thrusters flare on one side, and the train kind of moves a little bit.
Oh,
and
shit.
Gibbs is like docked with the train essentially. And
Oh shit! Yeah.
But it takes you a second. You have to go, oh right, and then you have to like catch up, and you're able to at the end of your turn board the shuttle onto the ship. No problem. Gibbs, you hear in the cockpit, Echo has returned,
Nice. Great. Now I just need 3 more.
and so anything else, Echo?
There's no persuasion check in Starfinder.
What are you trying to do?
See.
Echo's trying to convince 899 that they're fighting for the same goal.
Okay.
So
far,
and finishes that up with other units MIA.
Okay.
Just leaving it.
Make a diplomacy check.
Plus 20 conditional modifier.
Aw,
Any conditional modifiers?
No, you are getting a check. I want to be very clear about this. When you said additional units MIA, that is what is giving you a check at all.
Cool. That's a 4.
You hate to see that.
I have a +2 now.
D&D.
Hey, that's
I have
pretty
a
good
+2
for-
now.
Anything else, Echo?
That's it. Because I think I've used up all my goodwill.
That's Echo's turn. That brings us to the rest of the group. Now, we'll just do a little
Yeah,
concentration check
I think
there
the
for
wheel
the crowd.
was maybe if Echo 899 doesn't outright kill you all.
So, the crowd is a continuing just party. It's going. They're doing basically a concentration check for their turn, but they're still going fine.
Hell yeah.
That brings us to Max. Max is going to look around at everybody, and I guess he's going to sense motive Bubs, who's not attacking.
I mean, I basically said what I'm gonna do. It's basically, Captain, do I engage or not?
Yeah, but that's not really clearly like giving him any directive.
Yeah.
At the moment, he's holding his attack. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. It seems to be waiting for how you are choosing to resolve this. I mean, he just saw what they did to Shade, and that was pretty brutal. That is all their turns. That brings us to the top of the round and to this Echo. So that ship is back online, correct?
Yes, I'm still on top of it though,
Okay, no worries.
for what it's worth.
You hear the power just kind of kick in, and all of a sudden, this ship is just entirely visible. You see the nanocarbon fibers, you see the seam as the cockpit just silently shifts and then slides open. And you
Wait,
see
so
the
do
interior.
I fall in?
No, you are like on the back part of it, and so it slides open right in front of you. You can
Oh,
see like the seat
okay.
and everything. However, they are going to leap up and land in the cockpit.
Does that provoke an opportunity attack?
They're not leaving your range, they're entering it.
Okay.
And they are going to. Let me see how this is turned. Give me 1 second. Yeah. Oh no, that was an action, so they can't make an attack with the ship. So actually, the ship turns on, and Shade, you hear this loud hum, and looking down at the front of the ship, you see that there is a small, almost seamless compartment that separates, and a relatively large particle weapon begins to descend from the hull. That is Echo's turn, and that brings us to Spice.
So Spice is going to look up at this Echo unit, and do they make eye contact?
No,
Fuck.
they're focusing very much on getting the ship and getting out of here.
Okay. Well, in that case, change my mind. If they're not looking at me, then I'm going to slap my hands together. Spice slaps her hands together, and she's going to cast Daze
Okay.
in that case.
And what kind of save is that?
It's a will saving throw.
14 plus.
Smells good.
23.
You save.
Unfortunate. You
Yep.
cast Daze, and you watch as it just across the windshield, doesn't quite penetrate.
Okay.
So, can you tell me the direction that the Echo unit is heading?
So right now the ship is technically the ship was, I don't know why it was turned, it was sideways, and so it's facing out towards Ariana right now. Yeah.
Okay.
So in the same side as the director is flying, although much further back. And at the moment, it looks like the weapon is dropping. They're not moving yet, but the ship is facing in that direction.
So, is it safe to assume they're trying to take the ship and go up?
Sure seems like maybe. I mean, there's nowhere for it to escape up. The doors would have to open, and they don't seem open, so they're doing something. What are you doing?
Whatever. I'm just going to jump up to meet the Echo unit because all I have is my move action left.
Sorry.
Okay.
And so I'm just gonna jump up and make.
Okay. So, Spice, you jump on the cockpit. The Echo unit sits in the seat. You're right in front. Shade is right behind right now. Max and Bubs are in the front of the ship. So everybody just crowded around this craft.
Yep.
No problem. So, anything else, Spice?
That's my whole turn.
Alrighty, Shade, what would you like to do?
I'm gonna use my exocortex to implant glitch.
Okay.
I'm going to try to hack into the Echo unit's cybernetic eyes
Okay.
to blind them. They take. Oh. So it's a the computer's check, and the DC is 15 plus 1.5 times the CR of Echo.
Okay.
899. Nice. That's 33.
Succeed by 1.
Oh,
And so what does this do?
They take a -4. Let me see. I think it's a -4 to perception checks.
Okay.
But let me just double check. All of these
Before his turn
features.
goes, I want to do my action.
Okay.
Yeah, so the implant was installed in the eyes, so the target takes a -4 penalty to perception checks.
Okay. No problem. You install this glitch, and all of a sudden, it's like the red shifts to blue, and then yellow, and then onto different colors. And they don't seem to be capable of vision. They're still staring at the controls of this craft as if that's not really what they're using to detect things anyways, but they're blind.
I want to try and I think it's a maneuver to shift positions. I want to get into the cockpit and push the Echo unit out to try to get them out of the ship.
That's a feature, I believe.
Oh.
No, it's called. I have a listen. It's what I did to Tiffy when the giant toad was on her.
Oh,
Right,
Yeah.
But you have
right.
to be a willing target to do it.
Yes.
I believe it's called. I'm looking at the list.
Yeah, I'm trying to find it too. It's some combat maneuver.
I think it's a reposition or something.
Reposition. You
Yeah.
change the target's position to a different location, still within your reach and within 5 feet of its original placement. You can move it 5 feet for every 5 by which the result. It doesn't need to be a willing creature, but in that case, it's a grapple first. And I believe.
So this is when I want to use my action. I want to also grapple.
Okay.
Oh no, it's an attack roll. Oh, are you doing this first? Are you using your ready to action first?
If you're gonna
Okay.
go for a grapple, then I think we both can go for a grapple because we both do a double
Absolutely, yeah.
It says it's an attack roll for.
Yeah.
So it's just the same, and the KAC is target's KAC plus 8.
grapple. So what do I roll for a grapple? I always forget for grapples. I'm just gonna roll.
I think it's an attack roll. That's
It's kind of just. Let me see if it's kind of.
all right. Mine's a 20. 24.
Fail.
Oh, that's even worse.
No.
Failure.
4.
Both of you go to grab, and even sitting in this cockpit,
Oh, can I use my reroll for Orsha?
Yeah.
you already used it today.
No, is it a new day or
It's
not?
a new
We
day,
slept.
right?
Not since it was after
We
you
did
slept.
not
That was the
sleep.
new day.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, we had that conversation before.
It's nice.
So no worries. Unfortunately, unable to grapple in this confined space.
So manipulating an item
Correct.
is a move action. I have
Correct.
not used my move action yet.
Okay.
Can I manipulate the controls of the cockpit from my position?
I would say you might be able to. That would almost certainly put you in a position for an attack of opportunity, not leaving the space. But like technically, no, you can't do that. Rules is written. If you want to risk the attack of opportunity,
Yeah, I'm just trying to like basically prevent 899 from taking off on this ship while we're still on it, and trying to keep them from escaping.
Okay.
And like also from firing this big gun that they're pulling out.
So I think what they're gonna do then, as you try to do that, is they will use their reaction to try to close the cockpit. And it's not gonna be fast enough. You dive forwards, you like press into the controls to try to close this.
Clinging hands to it so I can't get pulled off.
Yeah, sure. You grab onto it as best you can. For what it's worth, that will impair their ability to use them. It's not gonna stop them from using them.
Right, but I'm not gonna leave very easily in this situation.
We'll see. So that is your turn, Shade. That brings us to
now.
Bubbles.
And they can't see. They
Correct.
have perception. No.
So is the
Should've done
cockpit like
something
halfway closed at this point? You said
It's like
it was
closed around
closing.
my waist and just like.
Actually, so because this is a good place, why don't we take a break here?
Okay.
Because we are getting to about 8:30,
Yep.
and then we'll come back to finish up this combat.
Lady's gotta pee.
So we will be back in just 10 minutes. We'll see you then. And howdy, folks. Welcome back to Mosaic Team 5, our Starfinder campaign, where everything is going according to plan.
Nothing's wrong.
Nothing's wrong.
Not our plan.
Can I also say how well I framed you guys up after Dan knocked the camera down?
Yeah,
With
that's
the
good.
Could you just tilt it a tiny
This
bit
is
so Kara's a
perfect.
little bit more in there? And then,
Yeah, I'm never in frame though. This
could
is
you guys
perfect.
tilt the camera so that we can capture Dan?
I can slide over.
Yeah. That
Wow.
also works.
Pretend like you guys like
look
each
at that,
other.
Look at that.
Now kiss.
Yeah.
Yeah, for the stream. So, for 4,000 bits. No. We'll get right back here into our combat as we get to Bubs.
Oh.
And Gibbs, you're on deck.
Yeah, I'm there. I'm there.
Someone grab Bubs. Do like 140%. He's probably on the other side.
What?
Oh, when we knocked the thing down.
Yeah, it came down like a...
I don't know. This is a little goblin.
Bubs is MIA.
Here, you can use.
Solid.
You can use.
Give me another Bubs.
Sure. There's a Bubs for
Here.
now.
We'll find him.
I am going to, seeing how this is probably not a situation I can solve, I'm going to, get my jetpack, and try to grab Spice and go into the other cart.
Okay. What? So,
Yeah.
Spice, are you willing?
No, I'm not willing.
I'm gonna contest it and try to fight it.
Okay, make an athletics check.
Do I have contested athletics?
Yeah.
Okay, 19. Plus 5. 24.
I'm always surprised at how low your
19?
athletics is.
Plus 10!
Damn. that dip in operative really paying off here. So,
Don't win.
in this brief moment, as you go to leap, you're going to use sheer muscle to grab Spice, and even in your your mouth,
Wow.
the words form. You're like, "Babe, we're gonna go," and then you go to grab, and Spice just sheds your arms, and it's not force. This is just like a practice move. They push your arms to the side in a way that if you were to really resist, you can feel your shoulders about to kind of pop, and so you have to kind of shed that. And Spice just slips aside. You can't pick her up.
Okay, I'm gonna try again next turn. I'm gonna stop the momentum and try to slide, Scooby-Doo run, trying to catch back up and try to grab her again.
Okay, no worries.
No, we gotta get out of here.
So that is your turn, Bubbles?
Yeah.
Alrighty, Gibbs, what would you like to do? Echo, you're on deck.
I'm gonna pat. So I hear Echo Doc in the docking place of the director. I'm like, Director, you got this. And I just slam down on the Gibbs keyboard and then run. And I'm gonna use my turn, I think, to get into, or use my movement to get into the shuttle with you, because you're still in the cockpit.
I'm in the shuttle, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be like, all right, let's go.
So all of a sudden you land, the door begins to descend, and then suddenly there's a slight wrench as the whole door goes down an inch as Gibbs scrambles aboard before it even finishes closing, and then just slides into the seat next to
And I press the garage door opener to close it, ready to.
the door. Begins to close again.
I have a payload.
What's a payload?
I have cargo.
Gibbs is
Oh! I look at the things!
There are 2 echo units. There's no lights coming out of the eyes. There's no electronic activity. Just on the ground.
I will fix this for you later, but first, Shades keeps beeping in my head. Can we help him?
I would like to drop off the echo units.
Oh. Can I action detach them?
I mean, are you gonna let Gibbs just do whatever Gibbs is gonna do with these echo units?
I'm just gonna kill him.
I'll keep him safe.
Just like Tony.
I mean, Echo
No
has
one
no
knows.
idea. Nobody knows.
No one knows.
Tony is
Go
fine.
trust you!
Yeah, cool. Then I
Keep him safe, just like I did with Tony. He's
action
totally
detach
safe and
them,
not-
and then I will shush them down the ramp.
So you're like, I trust you, and then Gibbs just goes, cool, and then takes the
Gently.
gently takes them and goes, shh, and just slides them down the ramp.
When the cargo bay is depressurized, they will be shunted into space.
You're right. Okay. So then I will spend my action gently babysitting these guys and bring them, I guess, to the med bay. Because,
Okay.
I think they're, dead bodies, and I just went through the whole thing about a dead body. And so, treating them with the same...
So you lug them
Emphasis.
past the cryo chamber and into the med bay. You slide them in there, and you end your turn just kind of setting them down there and turning to go back to the ship.
They're there, but a little confused, but
No problem.
understanding that they're
Echo, it is your
important.
turn. You watch as Gibbs gets off the ship and like lugs the Echo units into the med bay. What are you doing?
Echo sends out a last transmission as Echo waits for Gibbs to come back on board because apparently Gibbs wants to come with.
Okay,
done.
no problem.
And the transmission that they send out is entire batch missing. Please locate. Please locate. And then transmits the 72500 series.
To
It's
all?
general broadband because I don't have Echo 899's direct
And
communication.
that's the message that you got, is the transmission that you sent.
to the entire 500 or 800 series.
I am sending that the 72500 series is missing
Okay.
localized broadband.
Okay.
So
Fair
to
enough.
So
Everybody
hoping-
just gets ding, 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 ding across communicators. It pops up in the toilets. It pops up on the TVs. All across the localized area, this just pops up. And I would say for those of you who are in the bay with the actual ship and with Echo, on the ship's computers, that pops up as well. It pops up everywhere. But no problem. That is your turn, Echo.
I guess.
Can you make a diplomacy check just for free at the end?
Just for fun.
Natural 20?
It's not for fun.
This is bad for
Keeping in mind that I only get a +2, that's a 17.
That's not bad for
nice
plus
dice
2.
roll. Yeah,
We'll
but
get
it's
back to
bad
that.
for.
Bad for us, but
That is Echo's turn. That brings us to everybody else.
Highest I can possibly get is 22.
Finally, somebody in the crowd car is like, wait a second. Everybody, shh. And there's like a moment in here where everybody just is quiet. Hello? And there's like no air conditioning. There's just emergency lights. There's no like music anymore because you left a while ago. It's just silent. And people are just like, what do we do? And this is now the moment of like confusion before panic begins to build. But nobody is aware because they are alone in there. That is their turn. That brings us to the top of the round and to this Echo unit. So, you broadband cast that. At the moment, Shade, they're going to shut the cockpit. And so you sort of have a decision to make. Are you going to let the cockpit shut on your arms or are you going to let go?
is it gonna cut off my arms?
You have no idea. It's probably, I mean, this is meant to be airtight in the vacuum of space, so it's probably got a pretty strong
Can I
cutting
like
mechanism.
make some sort of athletics save or something to not have it shut on me? Like to, you know, kind of like hold it open as it's trying to shut on me? Like I don't want to get
Yes.
bisected,
Yes.
but I also don't want to like
If you're going to
Escape.
put your limbs in a position to keep it open, you are also putting your limbs in a position to be severed. So
Yeah.
you can do that, but it's coming at a risk.
I'll take that risk.
Cool. Make an athletics check against a spaceship.
We're gonna
Trying
get.
to
I've got Kasatha arms that you can
I was gonna
have.
say, who's
Oh!
got some prosthetics?
Spare arm.
That's pretty good. 30.
A 30, okay. There is a grind, and this cockpit does not shut.
Fuck yes.
They look up, and though they cannot take a triple attack, they are
Oh.
going to do
Shade,
the
you're
Echo
dead.
Special. And
Echo special means they missed. Come on.
Hey.
They can't see too.
that is
So-
true. That is true. Can you go ahead and make a sense motive check, please?
Yeah, I'm really good at those.
Ooh, I feel what this is like now.
10, but I guess I guess our android neutralizes, so yeah.
So that was a 10 on sense motive.
Okay.
Wow. So they just beat you on that. And I'm imagining that a 32 is going to hit.
Are you serious? No, I'm fucking idiots. Yeah, I'm done.
Okay, so a couple things are happening all at once here. Give me a second.
Oh, damn.
Boy. You can hit both at once. It does happen. So first, you are taking. I'll just roll it here.
It doesn't matter because I'm back down.
Yeah, almost
Another
certainly.
one. But I guess does
From
my
the
auto
attack
CPR
itself,
need to
you
be
are taking
refreshed?
34 points of fire damage.
Yeah, I'm down.
In addition, you are taking 31 points of fire. The sneak attack or the trick attack takes same damage as the weapon, correct, Echo?
Trick attack is specialized to the level.
Specialized to the level. No, for damage amount, but damage type.
Oh, damage type, yes, same as the weapon.
Perfect. And because they hit both their rolls on the trick attack, your movement speed is halved next turn, and you cannot take guarded step as a.
I'm also down.
Also
so.
true.
But I think my auto CPR unit does it again.
Yeah, it doesn't have
It doesn't
a limit.
say,
Yep.
yeah. So
Absolutely.
at the end of my turn, I'm going to stabilize. But
Correct.
yeah.
You are not back up, but you will be able to stabilize.
Yeah.
So that is their turn. They're still stuck there, and though you are unconscious, the door is still open. That is their turn. That brings us to Spice.
Does the
You can see Bubs
threshold
being like, let's
buffer?
get out of here,
Oh,
babe.
no.
I know. And Spice is like, no, I can still do stuff. But so the Echo unit is in the cockpit of this ship and not on the ground, right? No part of the Echo unit is touching the train.
Correct. What you doing?
Okay. Days didn't work last time, so she's going to leap to where the point where the ship is touching the train
Okay.
and cast it here.
Fantastic.
Can I
Nice.
contest this?
Why?
Because I love you and I don't want you to adhere yourself to the ship.
As a
I'm
it's
not
not.
adhering
I'm
the ship to
adhering
the
the
other
ship
ship.
to the
Okay, I thought you were
Making-
adhering yourself.
No, so
No.
making the tile that
Like
the
this
landing gear is
to
touching
that.
Yeah, I
to
understand.
adhere.
It's
Yeah.
futile,
Okay.
but
No.
I'm trying to keep
It's
this
tile.
Echo from.
It's tile.
Shut up. I'm trying to keep Echo from escaping.
Yeah.
So you cast that, you slap onto this, and it's like the metal loses all of its luster. It becomes this weird kind of goopy texture on the top, and that is taken effect.
Nice.
We'll get back to that. That's an interesting idea. That's very cool.
I'm trying to keep this Echo from escaping, and I can't stop it from taking action, so I
So-
have to adhere to
No, that's
something.
good.
That is Spice's turn. That brings us to Shade, followed by Bubble. Shade.
I
stabilize at the end of your
stabilize
turn.
and I gain. I used my resolve point from my threshold buffer to go back up to 1.
Okay. Didn't you use that last time?
It refreshes
The
I
threshold
think.
buffer as well?
It doesn't say anything about not happening when I'm dying.
I believe it doesn't. It gives you more than
It's
one.
just-
Yeah, it does. It's
ones
once.
and-
It's next time you take an 8-hour rest.
Yeah.
No, that's to that just says the ones that you
just can't
don't
die
use
then.
to stabilize don't accumulate. Like when you take a long rest to regain your resolve points.
Wait,
as
but you only get it
normal,
once.
You don't get the extra.
I'll double check. I'm pretty sure, as I read it, you only get it once, and then there's
Okay.
a
Well then,
reload to it.
I guess I would just use my normal pool of
Yeah,
resolve
that
points
makes
to
no sense
get
for
back
now.
up.
And we'll double check later.
Yeah.
But no worries. You come back at the end of your turn to 1 health. You have just been battered repeatedly, but you are still there.
Like,
that is your turn, Shade.
Hand on the console, fucking like.
Bubbles. What would you like to
thing
do,
in the
Gibbs? You're on
back of my
deck.
head.
Bubs is going to. Does the ship have thrusters in all directions? I imagine most ships have thrusters in all directions.
They have retro thrusters that are very small. The main thrusters are in the back, and there are 2 of them.
Okay. Fuck, come on.
What you doing?
Breaking the glass won't work. I'm going to try to attack the main gun on the ship.
Okay, yeah, make an attack roll. It had just descended, and so it's there and visible.
Yeah. That's a 15 plus.
Oh shoot! I had a +2 to
13,
grapple because of my
so
clinging
that
hands. I
is,
didn't realize
28.
that was another
28.
thing.
Give me a second. That's close.
And I do. You want me to roll damage?
No,
Okay.
Oh,
that is a hit. Yeah,
Nice.
roll damage.
Okay, cool.
I did not think that would be a hit. Not that hard to hit a star shot. Really.
huh?
So 2 plus 8, so 10 plus 17 is 27.
Okay. You deal 7 points of damage to that ship. Fantastic.
Nice.
Slamming in, it's like the energy is dissipated across this material.
I'm mostly doing the thing. What is that? Where you mainly attack one specific thing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm doing that on the gun.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Why wouldn't you want thrusters?
Because I just don't think the thrusters are strong enough to break it through the ship.
So that is your turn,
Maybe the
Bubbles.
hole first.
That is going to bring us to Gibbs, followed by Echo.
Also, there's multiple thrusters.
Gibbs's movement is to get onto the little shuttle, and then we'll hold her action until closer to the drama, and we'll wait for Echo. Safe.
Echo, at the start of your turn, you receive a very short band communication. And after you sent out whole batch missing help, this small element of code is beamed across. Do you accept it?
Yep.
Okay. As you accept this element of code, suddenly in your field of view in terms of data, you see 5 minutes, 4 minutes, 59 seconds, 4 minutes, 58 seconds, and it begins to count down. But you have no idea what it is.
Uh-oh. Probably some sort of explosive.
What would you like to do?
EMP. I think Echo.
This changes things. Shush.
Without examining it further, hard to tell what it is.
Phishing scams.
Shush. Echo, like, simulcast essentially that countdown on that full spectrum broadband.
Sure.
Excuse me, localized broadband. It's just to the train and the surrounding area. So for whoever's listening, there's a countdown.
Bubbles. As soon as this countdown turns on, this immediately brings back memories for you. In that game that you had played a long time ago, when the timer began to count down, it looked, sounded, and behaved exactly like this timer.
Free action, look at Gibbs, just be like, nope, I don't have that. I don't have any knowledge of that. Never mind.
What are you doing, Echo?
Fuck.
What? Let's go! Go, go, go! Go, go! Thrusters on! Party!
Fuck. Echo continues to broadcast the countdown timer.
Okay.
And just begins sending out bits and pieces of that bits and pieces of the group chat between the 72500 batch.
Okay.
Just like little snippets of their lives together and like little in-group comments, just localized broadband. And as they begin to pilot back to the train.
Make a sense motive check as you do that.
Fuck.
We're really good at those.
I mean, we're really good at those, but we could be better if I roll better. That's a 16.
With a 16, as your data leaves, and you can send just these little snippets of text, parts of your lives together as this cluster, maybe hoping for there to be some kind of a resonance reach there. As you send it out and it goes past this countdown that has been sent to you, this packet of data, it's like they interact in a way. It's like as they pass, they both beep and acknowledge each other, and then your data goes out and this data stays for what it's worth. And with that roll, no idea what that means unless
So
Kara
the
has an
countdown
idea.
data and the data I'm sending out interact.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
That is what happens. And so that is anything else, Echo?
Echo's just begun piloting back towards the train per Gibbs direction.
Okay, so you drop out of the directive 0. You watch as that light vanishes, and then all of a sudden, right in front of you, the train emerges, and you can see the darkened windows that lead up to a certain point. And from here, Echo, you realize from the car that the android parts are in down to just in front of Tony Express's little diner car powers out just there. This explosion of an EMP did not take a traditional EMP shape. It seems to be directly localized between 2 points.
Interesting. Okay.
Do we get within
Echo
30 feet.
communicates that to the team.
Echo can get right up to the train. Yeah.
Cool. So once we hit 30 feet, I'll resolve my action, which I will spend healing channel, which doesn't need anything but being within 30 feet.
Okay.
I spend my full. Sorry, I have to. Oh shit. I don't have a full action because I use my movement action. So
There
never
you
mind.
go.
Can't do it.
So that is your turn, Echo. You do not resolve your action, and that
I
brings us to
hold
the
it to
rest of
something
these
else.
folks. So if you could move 3 of those individuals into the diner cart, and then 1 of them into the cart on the other direction, now the people are beginning to like, hello, and like are looking around, beginning to try to find people who work here, unaware that there is 1 out of 3 employees left on board, probably. So they're looking around now.
sign of Tony
That is their turn. That brings us to
Set up around.
Echo. This Echo unit, as
Max first.
no, Max is waiting for Bubbles to do something, and Bubbles so far has just grabbed Spice.
And I attack the ship.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, I would say with attacking the ship, they'll go ahead and they'll take an attack against the ship. So you watch as they pull out
This one's so heavy.
what is essentially a revolver. Where's my d20s? Ah.
Oh, they all disappear.
And they're going to hit.
Nice.
There you go. So you watch.
It's just a couple guys with baseball bats beating up on a car.
From outside of the side, he pulls out a revolver and he levels it directly into the seam of where the cannon withdraws up into the ship, and he just unloads, just like shot after shot, squeezing, no expression. There's little bits of smoke and unclear. It does 15 points of damage to the ship.
Nice.
And that, for what it's worth, that's after the reduction, so that's a good amount of damage.
Max, did us good.
But then draws the gun back, flicks it to the side. The shell casings fall down. He starts to reload. That is his turn, and brings us to the top of the round to Echo, who doesn't even seem to notice those attacks. There is, I would say, Shade, you notice suddenly a brief hesitation. And all of a sudden, as Echo's messages of like little bits of code and messages and glimpses of communication amongst androids begins to hit you, that causes this Echo unit to hesitate for just a moment. You can feel everything has been very deliberate. Everything has been very quick. Everything has been planned and calculated. They landed. They vented everybody into space. They hacked this. They would have been out already had you not basically disabled the entire ship. And so everything has been completely as planned. And then all of a sudden, they just hesitate for just a moment as that goes across. And you detect a brief transmission from that Echo to your Echo unit. Echo. That 5-minute countdown ends. And the message opens up.
Oh, okay.
It seemed to be a timed communication. And in this communication, very similar to one that you received, you see a badly distorted message. That same, this program is brought to you by the Expedited Cargo Courier outfit. But underneath, there are only 5 letters. And they read, help. And you remember receiving this exact same message and looking at this copy of a message. They received it at the exact same time on the exact same date as you did.
Do I get a free action?
You do not.
Fuck!
The cockpit finishes closing as you are now unconscious.
Not. I have 1 health.
You have 1 health, but you are not.
You're
actively
staying
grappling
in the
this.
fight, yeah.
And they are going to fire at the wall, which almost definitely is going to hit.
Am I still clinging hands?
Yeah.
Okay.
That is going to be a hit. And so you watch as they use this particle beam to do 10 times the amount of damage it would normally do, because it is a starship weapon based on a wall, and just blows the side of this out. Can everybody make athletics checks, please?
I am tied.
Oh, sorry. You don't need to. You don't need to. Can Spice
And Max.
and Max, yeah.
Can I
oh,
free
Max.
action try to, or reaction try to grab Spice?
If you want to use your reaction, go ahead and make an athletics check. Max cleans on.
Nice.
That's an 18 plus.
What'd you roll, Spice?
Natural 1.
Ooh, yeah, you need this.
23.
Okay, so you watch as this vents out everything slows down, and you could see like Spice almost instantly is like a foot away, and there's like debris beginning to suck up, and you can see just darkness opening up. And so with that line that you have like all strung out, it's like you create a loop in it and throw that loop, and it's like a lasso that goes down the length of titanium wire that just grabs onto Spice. And for just a moment, Spice, you have just enough where you are pulled taut and are like still holding on, but you slam into the ship and you can like wrap around the landing gear. You do not go into space. Bubbles, you are fine. Shade, you are fine. Everybody is fine in there. Wow. It is a vacuum, and they are going to move the ship straight ahead.
Saw that.
For
Noted.
With Shade.
With Shade. And Shade, are you letting go, or are you just going to go with it?
I would like to make a quick attempt to do something before I get jettisoned into space, if I can. Otherwise,
first of all, make a free engineering check, because things are happening. And as a person who deals with the ships a lot, you may have a good idea as to what is happening.
Though?
No, I have 1
health.
HP.
Okay.
It's doing great.
Engineering, 25.
25.
26, sorry, because I have my plus
Okay,
1.
that's really important.
Yeah, I did that. It's the
You
cool,
feel a
the
humming,
engineering
and you
box.
feel in your mouth the same taste of iodine, and you recognize that you are right next to a drift drive that is powering up. You've never seen a drift drive small enough to fit on a ship like this. Nevertheless, you are aware that this is about to drop from
Into the drift.
being in the train still halfway into the drift. That seems to be the maneuver that's about to happen. Do you want to stay clinging on?
No, I don't want to stay clinging on.
Okay.
But I would like to try and implant Ghost from my exocortex into the ship to try and maintain a relative position after it escapes.
Okay, give me 1 second.
Basically trying to put like a GPS tracker on this thing.
So what? That doesn't need a check, if I remember correctly.
Um,
No, you do need to hack. So go ahead and make a hacking attempt. And we'll say right as this begins to like shift and become longer than it should and disappear into this parallel dimension that is the drift.
that's gonna be a 29.
That is going to be unfortunately a failure.
Oh, sorry, 30. Because
39?
30, just 30.
That is going to be a failure. The defensive countermeasures here, as you fail, are Mark 8. This is a powerful ship, and
Can I
you
use my
recognize-
exocortex as well to?
as they are dropping?
Also make the
that's
check?
kind of like I'm giving you that.
Yeah.
But they drop into the drift.
Okay.
I mean, that is as they are doing it. As the end of their move, they drop into the drift from there. The entire element of the deck just warps as that gravity displaces, and they are gone. Echo, as you see the end of that message play that just says help, and then says, or sorry, it just says wait, I believe is what it said.
No, it said help.
I'll have to go back and look. I can't remember. But it's the exact same
whatever
message
help.
that you received.
Help.
You wrote several sessions ago. You got this message. As you look at it, the message ends, and there are coordinates. And you've been to these coordinates before, and you are very familiar with them because you possess a drift beacon to this place. These are the coordinates to Lola's Diner. And because Echo is gone, I'm going to take us out of initiative, and because it is 9:15,
No!
this is where we're going to end for this week.
Plop onto the ground.
Can I send a message?
What is your message?
Echo wants to trace back down the communication line that came through the Pellies Rock message, and just send the conversation between Echo and the director, which basically said, "I don't want anyone to have 899. I want them to get away."
Okay, make a computers check. Free computers check.
That's pretty good for me. That's 26.
With the 26, right as Shade, like you can see squinting, trying to do something, and then letting go. And right as the ship like dematerializes, you throw this message through, and you feel the sensation of it connecting to another device before just disappears. And you don't know for sure that that got through. You don't know that the whole thing did. But I guess we'll find out next week. Thank you for sticking with us for this session of Mosaic Team 5. We'll be back next week on Thursday at 6:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, except for Ari, who will be away, unfortunately. But we'll be back.
And so no one will know that I killed Tony, and it'll be fine.
Hey,
And
we'll see what
Gibbs is
happens.
not going to own up to it because she's going to be very, very quiet next
Are there
session.
cameras on the ship? on the train?
Who knows?
I will say Gibbs is aware that no, there is not, because Gibbs is up front. But
And all the sensors would have been on movement.
we'll re-explore. Also, yeah, all sensors are reading blank space. You guys really set this up like perfectly for Echo. But we will be back next week. If you can't wait that long, D&D tomorrow night, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. See you there. Stay safe. See you later.
Boyfriend.